Going live. Going live. You're live. We're live, I think. Okay, there we go. Okay, that delay's not too bad. For a moment, it looked like there was a lot of delay there. How are my audio levels? We're good. All by myself. Don't wanna be. He's not late. He's here. Hello, everyone. How are we doing? We're in the front room of the shop. It's weird. I pulled the table out and I've set myself up a little desk here. This stream was a terrible idea and I have regrets, but I kind of decided this when it was too late to pivot onto something else. This is not going to be a regular occurrence. The reason why we're doing it here is that the idea is that the demo bench, that was a very violent camera move just there. That's the demo bench in the front, at the front of the shop, and I want to sort all this out. Basically, this needs sorting. All of those cables you can see under the bench, I want them all gone, or at least invisible. You know, so wow. That's going to be a thing this stream. That's going to different camera presets. Now we're at the bench. Whoa. Back to me. Whoa. So whiplash, yeah. So yes, that's the idea. So yes, we're going to tidy up all of that. That's the plan. I thought we were going to get another 2-year-old video. Everyone's really salty about that. I'm just like, these had to come out eventually, but also, like, in all seriousness, actually, the moving vlog videos, I knew they weren't super strong videos, but man, they're not performing. And I'm like, I don't know what to do about it, because like, I can't just not release them. Like, I want them all to be public. That's the objective. However, it's a case of they're not doing very well. So I'm like, shall I just say sod it and just publish all of the rest of them at the same time? Be like, okay, look, these aren't working very well, so I'm just going to knock the rest of them out so I can be done with it and then say goodbye to it. But I don't know. Okay, yeah, you folks are enjoying them. That's fair. Yeah, I mean, I'm not. Yeah, I will release them because, like I say, I want them to be public. I need them to be public because then at that point, it's like with the kids' PC video. You don't need to remind me. I know it's not done. You know, it's a case of this is stuff that is on the list of things that I need to do. And so getting the moving vlog videos out, that's been on the list of things to do for a while. And now I'm finally getting them published, and so far they're all bombing on YouTube. And I'm like, oh God, like releasing videos that you know are not going to be well received is a bad idea, especially for the position I'm in at the moment. However, like I say, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not sacrificing other videos. Like, someone was just like, "Oh, regurgitating old content, not a fan of it," kind of thing. That was a comment that I got on the latest video. Someone was just like, "Oh, you know, run out of material." I'm like, no, there's still a new video coming out every week. These videos aren't an alternative to new content; they're in addition to new content. So yeah. Anyway. So yes, Kids PC's been what, 2 years? Hasn't been 2 years. No, it hasn't been that long. But again, that video needs to be done, and it will get done. But yeah, the problem is though, every time someone pops up, every week when someone in the chat goes, "When's the Kids PC video?" that makes me not want to make the video. That's really bad. Don't say it. Just I know. So yeah. Every time someone nags me about it, it makes me want to do it this much less. So anyway, the burger looks yummy in couch. Yeah, it does. Right. Anyway, so I'm gonna get off of that and get on to the plan, which is the demo bench. Whiplash. So I want to sort all of this out. So this has been something that needs to be done as well. But the problem is that I'm not making. If I stand over here, yeah, it cuts my head off. Okay, I'm going to move my seat back to here for a sec then. So yeah, basically, Sorting out these cables needs to be done, and there's also a load of network cabling that needs to be done in the shop that just never got done as well. And this is stuff that I don't get done during the day because I've got work to do, and when I'm done doing work, I want to go home. I don't want to sit and do work in the shop. So I'm like, okay, let's try this out. Let's see if I can do it as part of the podcast. So Caradog didn't think this was a good idea, and I'm inclined to agree with him, but I'm like, let's try it and see what happens. So let's see how we do. Right. The legs under the bench are not so straight either. They're not super straight, no. What I do, that one's really not straight, actually. Yeah, that one's got to be sorted out. Hang on a moment. Ugh. That needs to... The problem is customers come in and they push and lean on the benches and stuff, and they push them all out of place. Every now and then I get these guys all lined up so they're nice and lined up and butted up against the wall, and then customers come in and start pushing them about and stuff like that. It's astonishing how customers will come in and just full weight just go against a desk full of computers, and I'm like, yeah, fine. The other thing as well, though, is these benches kind of need work anyway. This was supposed to be temporary, and you know what they say, that the temporary solutions last the longest. So yeah. Anyway, what is a Caradog? He's away this week. I can't remember what I'm not sure what he's up to, but Caradog is away this week and next week, so I'm doing 2 solo shows. Right, I'm going to start moving some things. Right, so, well, this computer normally goes here, but I think what I might do is clear the bench to start off with, and then just pull all of the cables out. In fact, I think that's what I'm going to do, is just empty the bench, pull everything out, and then put it all back in, because that will allow me to actually get rid of all of the cables that don't need to be there. Put signs up saying wet paint and they won't rub against it. Yeah, that's a good idea, Dobbin. That's a good idea. Right. So what we do have, though, is under these desks, I've got cable tidy brackets. I'll lower the camera in a minute to show, but there are cable tidy brackets underneath the benches. So the supports are there. There's one under each bench. So I just need to pull all of the wires out there. And what I want to do is set up. I want to set up essentially 4 stations. So for each bench, there is 2 stations, and each station will be 2 kettle leads, a network cable, and then yeah, two kettle leads and a network cable need to be physically plumbed in. Then monitor, keyboard, and mouse cables, I kind of want them to be not plumbed in because I might want to move them about. And one of the problems with cable tidying is the moment you zip tie everything in place permanently, you'll want to change something, which is super annoying. And I tell you what I think I need. I need a camera at eye level, and I need another camera that's doing a low camera angle. So let me adjust things. Let's bring this guy up a bit. If I go up to there, and then, yeah, that'll do. Let's just do a little bit of that. Okay, so now I'm at eye level. Now I need to get the other camera and have that looking underneath the desk. So one sec. Just pull this guy out from here. Now the cable to this camera is not as long, so it's going to be a slightly longer shot, but it should be okay. I'll put that there and lower it all the way down. Lower that down to there. That needs to go lower still. Oh, I don't know if this can go lower actually. Let's try that and see what we get. All right, hold on. Let me camera adjust. Let's see, I need, oh, I didn't plan this out very well at all. Hold on, I'm gonna whiplash you back to the table. Whippa! I never get to do this live. Right. Now the other camera, I need to add another camera. So let's change, let's be a baddie and change that one. Let's make that one. There it is. Okay. Give me that, make it visible. And, oh, that's not a bad shot straight away, actually. Bit more. There we go, that's all right. And now we've got an under cable, an under bench view. Okay, there we go, that's what we're working on. That's not bad, actually, I'm okay with that. Right. There's an option called live reactions or such that gets rid of the annoying heart emoji. Okay. Well, if people want to spam emojis, they can. I'm not going to look into how to fix that right now. Although now suddenly I'm just like, oh, is this Instagram now? But yeah, I've got now I have the little live thing. So when people are enjoying it, I'm getting smiley emojis and hearts and 100s. And every time I do something that people won't like, there's going to be a bunch of clown faces appear. So yeah. Close curtains to forestall all interruptions. I'm going to lose a lot of light if I do that. I'm going to risk it. The window is overexposed at the moment, so I'm going to risk it. So yeah. Although, yeah, you're right, actually. Sod's Law says if I don't, there's going to be some window lickers who just come up and just stare through the window and be like, ah, what's going on in there? And I'm going to be like, go away. You're not clever. All right. Oh, that's not bad, actually. We've still got plenty of light. All right. Good. Okay, right, that's that. And then what if I go to capture with face cam? And then if I change this to be that. Nope, that one. Are you sure? Nope, we've got no view of me. Hold on. The problem is I've got two cameras that are both called Insta360 Link. One of these needs to give a feed. I'm giving up on, no, I'm giving up on this. We're going to that. All right, that'll do, that'll do. Are those IKEA tables? These are custom made. Let's start working. I'm going to clear the benches. Clearing the bench. Right. And what I need to do, because I can't keep a laser eye on the chat all the time, I need to pick something from the chat to talk about, and then talk about it for a bit. Let's change the view again. Get ready for the whiplash. Here we go. Okay. Actually. Is everyone getting super annoyed with the thing? Let me see how you do actually turn this off. Viewer activity, stream settings. I don't know how you change it actually. I can edit the title. What if I edit the stream settings? This is just the live settings, blah, blah, blah. Places, license and distribution. I'm not sure how you change it, if I'm honest. So I'll have to come back to it. Right. Can you turn up the mic volume by a few decibels? I could actually. I can increase that a little bit. It's going to be a bit too low when I'm mumbling, so let's turn on the gain. And is that too much gain? That's not doing much of anything, actually. So row 2. Really? 4 decibels of gain doesn't do anything? Fine, whatever. I think it was live reactions or similar. Fair enough. I'll have to look another time. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Right, someone give me a topic to talk about. Let's have some topics or some questions, and I will start working on things. That's better? Okay, that's fair enough. It's always hard to tell. I think one of the things is when I'm sitting in front of the computer and I'm going, I don't know what this is, you naturally start mumbling. Whereas if you actually like start doing the speaking voice again, then I get louder again. Soundcheck is really difficult, man. It's not as easy as just speaking into the microphone. It also depends on hang on a sec. If I'm standing upright, the microphone leans against my chest. If I lean forward, so the microphone isn't leaning against my chest, does that noticeably drop the volume as opposed to when I'm doing this? Because that might be what's doing it as well. Watched last night's vlog. How far are we from part 2? There'll be another one next week. They're all done. They've been out for 2 years on the exclusive content. So yeah, new naming of Intel for some wild reason. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know really. Like I've only just heard of this, if I'm honest. I was watching Wan Show earlier on, and they were talking about it there, and it was actually the first I've heard of it. Yeah, I don't like it. When I heard the first bit and how they were dropping the I part of the name, so it wasn't going to be Core I. Oh, I need to turn off that cam because we've just got butt cam going on at the moment. Let me kill that one for a moment. When they said they were going to change it, so instead of being Core i5, it was just going to be Core 5. Core 5 kind of thing. I was like, okay, that makes sense. There's less syllables. This is now easier to say. But then they said how there was going to be the Ultra series, and I'm not actually sure what the Ultra bit is. And then how it's now got to be it will now be Core 5 Ultra processor model number. And I'm like, I feel like they're going to go through all the hassle of changing the branding, but not actually make it better. And that is super annoying. So I don't know the details yet. Does anyone know what the Ultra designations will actually mean? When I'm turning the mic game, you've got to shout. Yeah, maybe. My litmus test when I'm sound checking is to say butts, because that's got a nice big but on it, and a plosive. So yeah. So will the HEDT versions be the Ultra Mega? Yeah, I don't know. Ultra is for the K SKUs. Yeah. No, just I assume that the K SKUs are still going to have, like, let's say, for example, they're doing 14th generation. It'll be like the 1470 for the Core 7, right? So is it going to be Core Ultra 7 1470K? Is that going to be an example? I hate it. Ultra unlocked and higher TDP. Yeah. But like, why not just have a K on it to denote that? They already have this. It's just, this is a solved problem. I'm going to start piling everything up on the sofa. This is the part of tidying I hate, when you have to make it worse before you can make it better. The first thing you have to do is pick everything up and pile it up somewhere else. And then you move it back. Core 9 Ultra 14900. Sure, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like the Ultra bit. It's just, yeah, they've changed it all, but it's still just as difficult to say. No one understands the USB 3 standards. Oh yeah, we don't talk about those now. We don't talk about those. Right. I need to buy new monitor cables for this bench as well. All of the crap monitor cables end up on the bench, like all of the really annoying, like 1 meter long HDMI cables. And I think I might have to bite the bullet and just buy a nice set of like just 2 meter HDMI cables. I've got to get some in for stock anyway. Right, that's coming down. Right, this fella's got to move. This one's a customer rig that's in for repair. I did consider making that the job for today because it's crashing. However, I haven't sanitized it for customer data, so it would be a privacy nightmare to try and stream that. Got a white mummy Dell. Yes, this chap down here. This one was got brought in just for recycling, but it's a Pentium 3, and I was like, oh, I'm not throwing that out because that's actually, like, I don't know if it's I don't know if it's good in the retro space, but like being a Pentium 3, it's actually significantly old enough to be interesting. Getting rid of an established brand name in the middle of hemorrhaging money. Yeah, I guess. Maybe that's their attempt to beef it up a bit. 2-meter HDMI cables. Yeah, well, there's nothing worse of it. Thoughts on the Apple Vision? The Apple Vision, I don't know, man. It's okay. So firstly, let's talk about what's good about the Apple Vision. So what is good about the Apple Vision is that it is going to have mind-blowingly good pass-through. So when you put it on, so you can see the real world around you through the headset. It's going to have mind-blowingly good pass-through, and apparently it's going to have a really good hand gesture detection. I have my doubts about the hand gesture detection, but at the same time, I can see how Apple didn't want a controller for it. Like, I think the hand gesture detection, I think the best it's going to have is hand moves up and down, hand pinches or unpinches. Like, they're not promising that it's going to have that. They haven't said that it's going to have, you know, typing support, but like in the promo video, they show like a floating keyboard, and like they haven't said that's how it's going to work, but that's obviously how it was. Like, they've got that in a video, and it's like typing in on a virtual keyboard in midair. No, absolutely not. So the only way of typing is to use voice, and like voice is good enough for that. You can speak to a computer and it will type it out for you. The technology for that is there, but that brings into a problem with it, which we'll get to in a moment. And so it's going to have apparently it's going to have fairly decent hand detection, and the pass-through is going to be excellent. But the problem is that it doesn't seem to be doing anything else particularly good, in my opinion. It doesn't seem to address any of the needs that people actually want from a VR headset. And let's call it what it is. It's a VR headset. You know, you can split hairs and you can say, actually, it's an augmented reality headset, and actually, it's an XR headset. It's a VR headset. You know, let's not beat around the bush. But it's a VR headset that doesn't have any immersive experiences. You know, so I feel like Apple is entering this space without a plan, but also they're looking at it going, we have to get in now because the VR revolution is coming, and we need to get in on the ground level. And the window for getting in at the ground level is closing. But it really feels like they don't know what to do with it, because the only people for whom this seems to make sense are people who would be using it on their own, because you can't use voice commands when there's other people around. You know, like if you were in a space where someone was using an Apple Vision and they're talking to their Apple Vision, it's like being in a room with someone on the phone. It's like someone having a phone conversation at the dining table on their phone. It's like everyone else kind of has to just shut up while they're doing it. So, and it's like that. So the Apple Vision is going to be a very unsociable device. Now, obviously, VR headsets already are unsociable by definition, but the trade-off for that is that you're going to an immersive world somewhere else. That's the point. You know, I use a VR headset to be immersed in something else, or like go to VR chat where I'm going to a meetup with friends or something like that. So it's supposed to be, you know, a solo experience. Whereas the Apple Vision, it doesn't do any of those immersive experiences. So if it's not a social experience and it doesn't have any immersive experiences, what's it for then? Just watching movies? You know, that's kind of my beef. Is I think it's going to have some things that are very good, but I just don't see a use case for it, because if they're targeting it at normies aren't ready for VR, and if they're targeting it at enthusiasts, it doesn't do anything that enthusiasts want from a VR headset. So it's stuck in this no man's land of not pleasing anyone. So yeah, that's I feel like that's kind of where it is. And I think the other problem as well is the battery is stupid. I don't have a problem with it. Let's put that there. I don't have a problem with it having a battery on a tether. I actually think that's not a terrible idea, because it means that they've taken the weight off of the headset, and they can have a nice big battery that sits in your pocket. Fine. But that battery is going to have a fixed cable with a proprietary connector. If they had made it so it was just a proprietary connector to a Type-C cable, and it was shipped with what is effectively an official Apple power bank, that'd be great. But I doubt very much that the proprietary cable disconnects from the battery bank. And so now you have what is a really expensive proprietary power bank. And that's dumb and stupid, and I hate it. So yeah, it's and then what was the other thing that I was going to say? Yeah, and oh yeah. Then the final thing is, because it's metal and glass, it's going to be too heavy. It's going to be too heavy to wear for long periods. Like VR headsets, there's a lot of problems with comfort there, and the weight of the headset is a big factor. And the heaviest VR headsets around at the moment are generally balanced because they are strapped across. You've got the headband, but you've also got the top strap going over the head to relieve some of the vertical weight as well, which balances the weight across your head to the point where it's comfortable. When you have something that is purely just a headband onto the face, front weight is a big problem. And the Apple Vision has too much of that. And I think that's dumb, because they could have made it out of plastic and it would have been fine and great. But no, because it's Apple, it had to be metal and glass. So yeah. Yeah, it's so no, I don't get it. And I'm not being a hater just because it's too yeah, and like I'm not being a hater just because of the expense. It's Apple. Oh my God, this computer is heavy. It's Apple. What did we expect? I'm going to put this over here. Ugh. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's a product. It's a solution looking for a problem. So yeah. Something like the Vive Flow. I'm not familiar with the Vive Flow. Which one was the Vive Flow? Hang on a sec. I'm going to quickly Google this. Vive Flow. Oh, that was the glasses. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if any of these glasses are actually any good. The fact, I think it's too early for VR glasses, because there's a couple of models out there, and I don't think the tech is there for them yet, because they're still trying to be something that just sits on your face like a pair of glasses, and we're not there. So you just have these big chunky spectacles that offer a very poor user experience because the technology isn't there for it yet. So we'll get there eventually, but the tech isn't there for just glasses. Apple is doing its usual service to part certain people from their hard-earned money with great efficiency. Yeah, and like I don't mind if they're a premium brand and they're going to charge a premium price. That is okay, as long as they're delivering a good product. What I have an issue with is when Apple are charging ludicrous amounts of money for something that has deficiencies. Like the Apple iMac is a great computer, and if Apple wants to charge 1,500 quid for it, for something that doesn't have a, if Apple wants to charge £1,500 for an iMac, sure, that's fine. But when Apple charges £1,500 for an iMac that has 250 gigs of storage, now we have a problem, because that's bad. That's not good. And it's incredibly frustrating. And that's the other thing, is like, they're saying how the Apple Vision, they're saying how, the price starts from $3,500. You know full well that the $3,500 model is going to be like 128 gigs of storage or something completely useless. And the one that you'll actually want to buy will be $3,800 and actually have a useful amount of storage. They're saying how this thing is going to replace your laptop and your TV and your hi-fi system. Not unless it's got a terabyte of storage. And you can bet your bottom dollar that it's not going to have a terabyte of storage. Charge 1K for a monitor stand. I mean, yeah, I mean, the monitor stand is complicated. There's more to it than that one. I'm not going to go into it because I'd have to refresh my memory on that one. However, there are some videos that explain that. There is more to it than that, because like the price of the monitor is part of that equation as such. However, even still, even if Apple had a plan for it, even if there's a point to it, it was bad PR. Although that much being said, sometimes that's exactly what Apple are looking for. I strongly recommend, if people here are not subscribed to MKBHD, you should follow MKBHD, because he now and then does thought pieces, and now and then he does really good videos that explain what certain companies like Apple especially, that explain their train of thought and explain how what they're doing, whether you agree with it or not, does actually have a plan behind it. It was like when Apple had, for the Mac Pro, they had like the $90 wheels, I think it was. The wheels for the Mac Pro, I can't remember how much they cost, but they cost a ridiculous amount of money. And he did a video that actually went over that and explained their theory behind that. And yeah, and he explained the theory, and it made a lot of sense. I was like, and it was just like, you might not agree with this, but when you actually look at it this way, suddenly it makes sense. And I agree with that sentiment. Regardless of whether you agree with it or not, you have to admit that it does make sense, or at least it plays into a strategy. Where did I put? Oh, there. I'm going to move that. I need to not put things on this desk that I've set up. All right, a couple more cables and then I'm done clearing, I think. We've got just power cables and network cables. Then I've got to pull everything out from underneath the bench. Would you ever shave your chin hair? I don't think I would shave it off unless it was a very special occasion. It does need a trim. I will concede that point. In fact, it's looking particularly bad today. I might just brush it and see if that fixes it. Hold on. You called out the chin hair in block capitals, so now we have to talk about this. Where is my hairbrush? There we go. Believe it or not, I do actually have a hairbrush next to the workbench, purely so if I'm about to start recording a video and something has gone terribly wrong, I can actually do something about it. You asked for this. There we go. That's how I do my beard. There we go. That's a bit better. I'm not going to give you guys a close-up. It's behaving now, at least. Stop shaming math. Is it One Guy Talk Tech today? It is. Caradog is away. Caradog is away this week and next week, so I'm tidying my bench this week. I don't know what I'm going to do next week. I'll think of something. We shall see. I might have some I might have something to build up. I've got at least 2 demo computers that need to be built up, but I don't think they're going to get built in one go. They're kind of being built up over time. Right, I need to sort out everything that's under the bench. Right, I'm going to try and switch to the bench cam again, the underbench cam. How about that? Right, why is this not picking up? Hold up, let me try switching. Give me a preview there. Camera is being used by another application. Why is this camera not responding? Right. Deactivate, activate. Right, what if I hit defaults on that? And go bam, bam. No, I think I need to replug the other camera. No, it's just not going to pick up. All right, fine. Let's go to the other one that's still live. Right, and let's turn that on. Right, is that working? Yeah, oh, there it is. Okay, it is responding. Okay, let's do capture with face cam. Oh, there we go. There we go. It's working now. It's decided to behave. Fine. Whatever. Whatever. Right, let me catch up on chat, and then I'll start moving computers again. Graham has to do twice the talking today. Yeah, the hardest bit is the reason why doing this stream was a bad idea is it's a bad idea to stream an activity where you can't read the chat while you're doing the thing, which is kind of what I'm having to do at the moment, because I have to come up to the chat, find a thing to interact with, then I need to walk away and waffle for a bit so I can actually get the job done. So when you're doing a stream, I need to either have a co-host who's managing the chat, or I need to be doing something that's on a bench. So long and the short of it, this stream was a bad idea, but this is where we live now. So yeah. I think you've only seen your streaks from your new shop. AV to switch cam. Yeah. Apple make good products, but too much greed. That is legitimately the biggest shame of it all. Like, a lot of people like to savage Apple. Everyone loves to hate on Apple, but the fact remains is that they make good products. It's the price tag that's the problem every time. If you compared Apple products to anything else without the price tag, then they would be really great products. But as soon as you factor in the price, suddenly it all falls apart. It's really such a shame. How much is greed and how much goes into R&D costs? I think there are a lot of R&D costs involved, but also by the same token, everyone's got R&D costs to pay. And in addition to that, I think just because you spent a lot of money developing something or a lot of money building something doesn't mean that it has that value. And I'm going to sit down for a bit. And the best example of this in action, where's the thing? So the best example of this in action is, do you guys remember the Juicero? The Juicero, which was the bonkers expensive, fancy juice press machine that pressed your juice with 2 tons of force and stuff like that. When you actually, I watched a video on that at some point that they did a teardown of a Juicero and they figured out the material costs for building it. And when they went into the costs and the parts and the engineering involved, they were like, this thing is incredibly well engineered with really high quality parts, This is a really incredibly well-built machine. So the price of it was entirely in line with the development and build costs of it. Like the amount of money it costs to get those parts manufactured and stuff like that. You know, like they were not running crazy high margins on the machine. However, despite all of that, it was X $100 for a juicer when you could just buy a $20 blender that would do fundamentally the same thing. And that is the problem. Just because you've designed, just because you over-engineered something to an insane level and made something insanely good, that doesn't give it value. And this is one of the problems that I think Apple have, is they put in so much engineering and R&D, but that doesn't necessarily add value. Some of it does, but not all of it. So yeah. I bought my iMac refurbished 8 years later and it's still going strong. Second-hand iMacs are great. The only problem with second-hand iMacs is that you have to put an SSD in them. Otherwise, they're just not viable straight out the bat. But second-hand Apple laptops, I think, are always a safe bet as well. You could squeeze juice out the pouches with your hands. Yes. But yeah. When they sold as a loss, the business model was the DRM fruit packets. That wouldn't surprise me, Lupra. It wouldn't surprise me, Lupara. That may well have been the case. Or if they weren't sold at a loss, they certainly didn't have a high profit on the machines. But again, that should have been an indicator during development of maybe we're overthinking this, you know. So yeah. Worked for a month at Electrolux Vacuum. All right, that's kind of cool. Optimus water cooling stuff. I haven't looked at their stuff. Have I got 12 gang power strips? I've got 6 ways under these benches. There is a 6-way under each bench, and in addition to that, there are 6 sockets on the wall. So there are 4 sockets if you discount the 2 that are being taken up by the 6 ways. So there is 12. There is 16 sockets in total. So plenty of sockets, because theoretically I should need 2 sockets for each computer. I should theoretically need 8 sockets total, 4 for each bench, and there's 6 attached to the underside of the bench. So that means there should be 2 empty sockets plus extras on the wall for just plugging in random stuff. So should be pretty comfortable down there. You still say that the shop needs an aquarium. Oh, I couldn't be bothered with the maintenance. If it needs maintenance, then it's a no-no for me. Hate that you have to patch the installers for some older models. Yeah, I've got mixed opinions about that. I've installed modern versions of macOS onto old iMacs before, and every time I've tried to do it, it's ended badly. Like, I've had people say, oh, you know, I've got a 2011 iMac and I've got that running Big Sur kind of thing. I'm like, the last time I tried to do it, the customer came back a week later and was just like, it's slow. And I'm like, it's a 10-year-old iMac. And they're like, yeah, but it's really slow. And I tried it and I'm like, yeah, this is pretty bad. And it's just, it does, even with an SSD, there comes a point where it's just like the CPU is too potato to be viable anymore. So yeah, like, I know it can be done, but I don't think it's useful. Digital aquarium for the TV. That's a good reason for me to get a TV, actually. I support that. Bionic Bigfoot FT, thank you for your $1 poop emoji. Is this the old family sofa? It sure is. It sure is. And it's still going strong. MacBook Air was the best laptop you've ever used for a great price. Just wouldn't cooperate with your non-Apple hardware. Yeah, Apple is a bit of an ecosystem for that. When people come in with one Apple device and they're like, oh, I'm thinking of getting either an iPhone, or they've got an iPhone and they're thinking of getting a Mac, I'm just like, yeah, it kind of makes sense, to be honest. I've got a lot of old computers. All of these old computers under the bench, they need to go somewhere else. Right, that's oh God, that's filthy, that monitor. Oh yeah, this was a customer donation. Oh, this is only VGA. Oh, is that even worth keeping? I don't know. I'll clean it up and put it somewhere. Now and then, oh, you guys couldn't see any of that. Really grotty monitor. Now and then people come in and they're just like, I need a screen. I don't care what it is. The cheaper, the better. So at that point, I'm just like, okay, yeah. Right, let's put that down there. Let's go to the underbench. Does that work? It does work. There we go. E-waste, probably. Yeah, like this is also a cheap monitor, but except this is 22 inches and it has HDMI, so it's actually a viable cheap monitor, as opposed to being what I think is a 19-inch VGA. Actually, that's, tell you what, that grot monitor, that's probably what is it, 1050 by 900 or 1680 by 900, whatever that 16 by 10 resolution is. Right, I've got some network cable. That can stay because we might be using that. And we need to get rid of these. That's going somewhere else. Whoops, that hit the ground a bit harder than I anticipated. And what the hell even is this iMac? Does this actually have an iMac in it? Oh, it does. Oh, does this have a thick boy iMac in it? No, it has a thin iMac in it. I'm going to put that in the middle of the workshop because I need to find out whose this is and what it's doing here. Okay. The underside of the bench is relatively clear. We're looking good, I think. A parrot, no. Doesn't that iMac box come from the old shop? No, no. I've got a lot of old iMacs came from the shop. They're under a different bench. So 1440 by 900, that's the one. That's the one. No sticky notes on the computers. No, I don't like putting sticky notes and labels on everything. I track serial numbers. If I look at the serial number on that iMac and then look that up on my system, that will tell me whose it is and why it's here. So yeah, I just do everything by serial number. What's the triangle piece in the middle? What triangle piece? Hang on a sec. I'm looking at the preview trying to figure that out. Oh, yes, I see. So these are the old LED strips from the old shop. Are they plugged in at the moment? They might be. Nope, apparently not. Ah, there we go. Hang on a minute. So, oh, that's just right in front of the camera. That's no good. Right, so these are the old strip lights that were lighting up the old shop, and I put them under the bench here with the idea being that I would have under desk lighting. And like at the moment, it's daylight. Well, the original plan is that I'd have this under bench lighting. I'd have this be really clean, and you'd have this under desk glow, which I thought would look really cool. And I still like the idea of it. But the problem with it is that these are like 30 watts a pop, these strips. They kick out a lot of light. And I'm just like, it's just using up more power for something that most people won't notice. And after I had the ceiling lights installed, which is coming up in one of the future videos, it's not that bright, basically. You can see them on, but it's just not that bright. So I don't know if I'm going to keep these down here, to be honest. If I did want under desk lighting, I think I would put in like RGB lighting or something, because if I have colored lighting, it doesn't need to be as bright, because it just needs to throw some color down onto the floor. That would be all it needs to do. So yeah, that's what that's all about. I do love the floor. It's okay. I didn't pick the floor, but you know. It creates mood. Yeah, I agree. Sony speakers, best thing in the shop. These speakers, I picked these up off of a mate years ago. Technically, they're on loan. However, I doubt he wants them back. But yeah, they're okay, but they both need recabling though, because the wires are integrated into the back of them, and they've got really awful speaker wire on them, which means it's very difficult to get a good sound. The amps, because someone asked about the amps earlier on. That way? Nope, wrong camera. That way. There we go. The 2 amps I've got down here. I've got, this is a Acoustic Solutions generic thing that is also, again, on loan from the same friend who loaned me the speakers. This thing is crap. It does the job, but it's not very good. Then I bought this secondhand Denon from eBay, but it's broken, basically, and it works when it feels like it. So this was a complete bust. I should have sent it back, because it was not sold as advertised, but it's too late now. So I'm kind of stuck with this, and I need to learn how to fix amplifiers or give up on it. So, but yeah, that's the 2 amps down here. All right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull both these out, because then I can just run the Hoover down here and just hoover up all of this dust. So let's do that. Let's get this stuff out the way. Do-do-do. I doubt he wants them back, famous last words. Yeah. Well, if he suddenly called me up and he said, Graham, remember those Sony speakers and the amp? Have you still got them? I'd be like, yeah, if you want to take them back, then go for it, you know, because I would just buy something else, to be honest. Like, they're not terrible, but, you know, I really should. The only reason why I haven't bought something else is just because I don't really want to spend money on the sound system in here, because it's just background sound kind of thing. But they're not awful, you know. That's the thing. You don't need a huge amount of quality. You just need something that can just fill the room with something that's not silence, you know. Oh, that's tidied back. Yeah, let's undo all of this. And, oh, there was actually an attempt to cable tidy some of this. I need to cut some cable ties. Cutters. There they are. Whoop. 1 and 2. There. Right, there, up to there, up to there. Oh yeah, this plug is falling apart as well. Main plug for this amp is held together with Captain tape. That seems pretty safe. At least it's insulated, right? Right, that goes around there. Ooh. All right. I'm trying not to have a stream that's just a series of me grunting while picking things up. Sequences of ers and rs. Let's see. No Velcro straps. I have some Velcro to put under there. Although I've got a roll of Velcro somewhere, and I need to find it, because then I can use that. It'll be the caps. It's always the caps, except when it isn't. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. This Denon feels really ill. Like, none of the front panel controls work. It's very odd. So yeah. Hate it when you walk in, the music is too loud. Yeah, no, the music's always got to be quiet. That's why I have the big speakers, because big speakers mean that you can have the volume down low. And let me just switch angles again. With big speakers, the volume can be down low and it's still audible without being intrusive. That's the trick. That's why you want big speakers, because they fill the room with low volume sound. Whereas small speakers, you have to turn the volume up to make them audible, and then it sounds like you have a little speaker shouting across the room at you, and it's really horrid. So yeah. Den and chip failure, front control panel. Oh, fair enough, yeah. Yeah. Is it fixable in a useful way, or should I just give up on it? And like, I mean this in a practical sense. Like, I could probably jump on eBay and spend 100 quid on another amp that's not broken, rather than spending a week faffing about with a wreck, you know. You forgot. Yeah, possibly research. Yeah, we'll see. Velcro probably in the old store. Oh, that all got emptied. It's here somewhere, I just don't know where. If you play music in a retail shop, you're required by law to use a public license. Oh yeah, I play music that is not licensed. If you play music that all of your friends made and they gave you permission to play, don't have to pay a license for that. That's my way around it. Because the PRS are a bunch of crooks. They're a mafia. I've got friends who are professional musicians, and they have not a single good thing to say about PRS. Nightmarishly difficult to get any money out of them, even when you're owed, you know, said royalties. So it's literally a protection racket. Right, speakers. Let's pull this guy out. Yeah, see, this is the problem with these speakers is this is the wire coming off of these speakers, this just thin, nasty stuff. It's like, I don't know, it's maybe 20 gauge at best. Like, that might even be like 22 or something. It's awful, this speaker wire. And that's the weakness of these speakers, but it's integrated into the back. So I think what I need to do at some point is actually just see if I can pry off the back of these speakers and solder on some nice big heavy duty stuff straight away. I think it is copper. Yeah, the actual wire looks like it's copper strands. It doesn't look like it's copper clad aluminium or anything like that. But yeah, I've got nice speaker wire. I bought just some stuff off of Amazon that's like 16 gauge or something like that. You know, the big heavy duty stuff that boy racers use. And I'm like, that'll be good enough. But yeah, the problem is because it's integrated into the speaker, I've got to actually take the cabinet apart, and I don't know if I'm brave enough to do that. Let's see. Where's Caradog where's Caradog today? I'm not actually sure what Caradog's up to, but he's not around. So if he's not around, he's not around. One of your dad's friends' jobs was to sue for artist royalties. They never like paying musicians. Exactly that. Yeah. Right. I'd make you some music. If it's neat, I'd be interested. I'm always on the lookout because I don't use music very often in my videos these days. I used to have background music in the videos all the time, but when you're doing long form content, it's very difficult to have good background music without it being just the same repetitive stuff, or, you know, so I very rarely use music. But I do occasionally pick it up, and it's good to have some music where you've got direct artist permission. Right, I'm gonna put this other speaker up on top of the desk. And, oh, there's so much dust down here. You don't see it until you actually go looking for it. I'm just gonna get the worst of the grot off the ground. Right, let's pull this out as well. Okay, oh, one more network cable. Oh no, oh, I hate it. I hate all of it. Hook it out the way. Just get out the way so I can hoover. All right. Hello, Paul Daniels. How's it going? We at the new place. We were always at the new place. I moved 2 years ago. I regret releasing the moving videos already. But yes, I'm just tidying up, basically. So yeah, I'm tidying up. This is in the front bench in the front half of the shop, and I want to cable tidy it all. So we're pulling it all out and doing it all back up again. Right, let's see. Screwfix mini trunking conduit. I don't want to put it in conduit because the problem is you can't take anything out of conduit. So yeah, one guy hoovering channel. Yes. Right. Okay, right, I'm going to mute for a sec while I just zip the hoover back and forth. I say the hoover, the vacuum cleaner, because it's not actually a hoover. One moment. All right, this vacuum is not very good, if I'm brutally honest. I'm actually going to get the I'm going to get the broom to finish the job and just get the trunking down low and stuff. Where is my broom? Where is my broom? Oh no, I don't know where the broom is. Oh, well, that's a bust. Okay, dustpan and brush. Dustpan and brush. Okay, we have a dustpan and brush. We've got something. Once again, this stream was a terrible idea. You missed a spot. I'll miss your spot in a minute. There we go. Right. Get the worst of this out. Bang, clang. All right. Sorted. Right, I think we can actually start doing cables now. Whew. Sai's going to be sad that he missed this. Maybe. Right, what was the question? You've been breaking your head badly over this XZZ PC format. Oh, interesting. How many PCB formats are there? Because like because Flex Board View, it already supports like 1 million of them. How do they keep making it? I guess every hacking PCB manufacturer wants their own, don't they? Right. Let's see. I'm going to adjust my view and try and make it so I can see the chat from the ground. There's N+1 formats. Yeah, I get you. I get you. Right. Ugh. I think this will do. Is there a reason we're staring at the rat's nest like this? Yes, because I've got to tidy this rat's nest. I'm going to pull all of this out. We do need topics though. Now I'm actually down here and I've got to tidy all of these. We need topics. Louver has no hose and brash attachments. Well, the problem is it's got no suction. The filters on it are bad and the filter needs to be washed like almost every other use. This is the thing, everyone knocks Dysons but my Dyson at home doesn't give me problems. So yeah, like I actually find them to be extremely reliable personally. I think a lot of people have an issue with Dyson and they say there's loads of failures, but that's just because of how many of them are out in the wild. Right, let's pull this switch out. I might see if I can find some screws and bolt this switch to the underside of the desk just so it's easier. But then the idea is that if I've plumbed in network to the 4 points on this table, then I don't need the switch to be accessible. It can just sit up there in the rack. So yeah. Right, let's pull all of this out. Put the switch to one side so that doesn't get lost. I'd like to swap out all of the power cables so they're all the same, if I can find some. Actually, that might be asking a lot. No, scrap that idea. Right. Oh, this audio cable goes a long way. Let's throw that down there to the other one. Right, there are... Ah, there we go. Stuff we'll pull down. Right, this is the network cable that goes back to the router. Let's unplug that. Pull all of these down. That is the desk lighting. Undo that. That's the other speaker cable. All right. I think we have an empty slate. Oof. Let's see. If you stuck a Gen 4 M2 into a Gen 3 slot, the Gen 3 slot doesn't have a heatsink. You don't know. Yeah, if an SSD is throttled down to low speeds, it's probably not going to produce enough heat to need a heatsink. So I wouldn't worry about that. So yes. Oh my God, is there a router versus router debate going on? I'm not engaging with that. There's a right answer and a wrong answer. Have you ever considered trays or backs on those desks to hide the cables? No, because they take too long to take stuff in and out of. I wanted a basket because this is accessible and invisible as when it's used properly. So, right. And what I'm going to do is be good and actually wire this up in such a way that it's actually tidy. Right. So, let's get power into the end of the thing. So we'll put that up there. And I'll have that running along there to bury the excess. A bit further. One less. That can go in there. That's fine. That's just like one power cable. If it went up and over, hang on a minute. This is the problem with cable tidying, is you can obsess over it to an excessive amount. That's way better. Yeah, okay, there we go. I'm gonna do that and that. Nope. Fine. Okay, that's pretty good. It's not gonna get any better than that. I'm going to leave these guys disconnected for the time being, just because I don't know if I'm going to actually use them. I haven't decided yet. Trunking comes with a flip-off top. Yeah, I just don't like trunking. I'm just not a fan of it. So yeah. Like there's not a huge amount of wires that need to go in here. That's why I'm trying not to overthink it. Fundamentally, all I need is just 4 power cables for each of these benches and get the network cables in. Everything else, I think I'm going to tidy top side of the desk is going to be the plan. So, power cable. And I need to check the length of all of these just to make sure there's no stupid length ones in. That's good. So if there's any secret like 3 meter or 1 meter cables in, then I want to get rid of those. Otherwise you'll have random cables that are just inexplicably the wrong length. Right, I've got a couple of cloverleaf connectors here. Is that one a short boy? Nope, that's fine as well. Okay, that's 4 kettle leads. A rare Apple one, but I'll allow it, that can stay. Right, 1. And 2. The difficulty is going to be hiding this part of the cable and gauging how much slack to give it. That's where this gets difficult. Oh, I don't like that one. Oh, God. Huh. What a weird plug. It's really thin. I'm not sure if I like that. It is fused. But I hate it. Well, it works. I'll allow it. Right. I'm going to put these ones up this end to mark that this is for the right-hand side. Right. And then feed those up through the back. We've got to resolve all of the cable lengths in a minute, and I don't know how I'm going to do it. No. There's also a lot of dust up on top of the counter. We'll solve that in a moment as well. I think Graham is just moving the ugliness upwards. Possibly. I'm trying to balance it out. Beware, not all kettle cords are rated for kettles. This is true. Cable ties and Velcro ties. Yeah, they'll be coming in. They'll be coming in. Right, that's that. I think the network I'm going to do last. That's going to sit like there. Yeah, that's a... You know, actually, I might move this switch and screw it up to the bottom of the desk here, for the pure reason that that would mean that this cable that's coming down from the ceiling doesn't have as much distance to cover. Although, oh, that reaches anyway. I'm overthinking this. Yeah, no, we're fine. All right, that's fine. Okay, let's go to the top half and see how we're going to do that. It's gigabit. I don't really need anything faster than gigabit in here. Whoop. Right, so on top of the bench, I need 2 monitors. So at this end, we're going to have the Philips and the old Dell. Might move this one further up, actually. No, I lie. This is fine. That's fine there. Right. No. Swapping around. I will never be happy. That's going to go there. Okay. So let's move the camera to the... Let's move the camera slightly. There we go. Whoop. Do-do-do. If only power was wireless. If only wireless power was efficient. Right, so. Okay, so power above the desk. if I divide the desk in half, so if I say that that is, the desks are 2 meters, that's 1 meter, so that's about the halfway point there. And I want the power cables to be able to reach to any elevated point on the bench. So if I've got a tower here that has a high mount PSU, it has to be able to reach up to there. So if it can go to there, so we need about that much cable above the desk at any given time. So if I do that, so that's about the length I'm going to have available. So what I'm thinking now is I've got, let me find them. There they are, good, they are in reach. I've got these cable tie mounts, so these are the little sticky pad things. And what I'm thinking is I'm going to stick one of these on the back of the bench and cable tie those cables there like that. And then I tidy the excess that's under the bench, and now those cables are just fixed there effectively. That's the plan. Desk looks curved. Yeah, they've got a little bit of sag. They do need a middle, they need a middle leg, these desks, but they need reworking in general. So they're not going to collapse or anything, but yeah, they do need a bit more. Does anybody still build cases with high mounted PSUs? My Fractal Torrent has a high mount PSU. They do exist. They're not common, but they do exist. Also, a lot of cheap cases still run a high mount PSU. Yeah, it's not, I wouldn't consider it the norm, but they are out there. So, they'll fail miserably. What will? I put a hook on the wall mid-height for the power cables to rest on. I don't want to put hooks on walls. So yeah. Right. I'm going to try this out. I'm going to try this on one and see how we do. So I'm going to peel off some sticky back, and I'm going to try and mount this at a quarter of the way down the bench. So if that's about halfway, that puts quarter about there-ish. It doesn't need to be precise. So I'm going to go for there. Oops. Oh no, don't stick yet. I had one job. There we go. Right. Let's do about that. Okay, I'm into it. Right, now I'm going to get a zip tie, and I'm going to zip tie those to that hook I've just put on. So those just live there now. And then one can go into there, and there's some excess if we go into a low mount, but that excess can be plumbed in, you know? And I'll make it so the zip tie will hold it there so it can't fall down the back of the desk, but you can still pull a little bit through or feed some back if necessary. Zip ties. Zip ties. Am I going to use any particular color? I'll just use black. Right. I've kind of got to just put my back to the camera while I do this, so, you know, sorry about that. This will go faster once I've got one section done and I've figured out what exactly I'm doing here. But the initial bit where you're actually just deciding what to do is the hardest. Okay, come on. That will do, actually. All right. That's not tight, but as I say, it's loose enough that I can push the cable down or pull it through if I need to. But now, these aren't going to fall down. And if one of them does fall down the back, you know, if that happens, I can just pull it up now. That's what I want. Whereas normally, whenever I unplug a cable from this bench, the first thing that happens is that falls down the back, and now I have to pick it up off the floor. Whereas now, I can just pull that straight back up. That's what I want from this. That's the effect I'm trying to achieve. So, let's do that for the other one now. So, once again, I want probably about that much. And I can guesstimate this now. Why did I say that word? Why did I say guesstimate? I can approximate this now. Is this a Twitch stream? It is not. It's unavoidable though. Right, hang on a sec. I'm just going to roll back a little bit. Those sticky pads last about a week. These ones that I've got are actually really good. I've been using these sticky pads. I'm using these sticky pads under this desk in some other places, and I also use these at home to hold up my cable tidying on my home desk, and they are really good. Like if you actually weigh them down with a load, they won't last. But also, like under my desk at home, I've got 2 power bricks from my monitors that are hanging off of these, and I have 2 of them side by side in order to take that weight, and they hold up the weight of monitor power bricks. So they're actually really good, these ones. I'd certainly understand the concern, but if they're used properly, they're absolutely fine. They're not super attractive, but they are very effective, these sticky pad things. I think they're very underrated. I prefer these to putting hooks on something. Right. Cable tight. Oh, I might have made that one a little bit tight. Oh no, that's fine. It's fine. Good. Right. Trim the end. Right, that's that done. So now we've got to figure out how to do the cables underneath. Will Graham host a LAN party? I've got thoughts of that. I would love to do. I think some kind of LAN party would be super cool. However, and like I could easily drum it up. I have theorized a couple of times that I could get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I've theorized that you could get like 12 or 14 seats in here for a LAN party. So you could do a small LAN, you could do a small sized LAN party in here, I think. That could be done. The difficulty is that anyone attending, they would have to go and get a B&B somewhere. You wouldn't be like, you couldn't have 12 or 14 people sleeping in here, so you wouldn't be able to just crash out on the floor like a hall LAN party. And like, there's no shower here. So that's the difficulty, is I've got some seats, but I wouldn't have the amenities, if you see what I mean. Right, so these cables, but yeah, I've kicked around the idea for it, because I've had friends come over for LAN parties before. I've had like 6 mates over for a LAN party group. We played Command and Conquer and Satisfactory all weekend, and you know, as a proof of concept, it worked. It was pretty good. Right, so these now, I should be able to tidy those there, and then I'm just going to bundle those along there. On these hooks. And this way, I haven't needed to use any ties. Everything just pulls out if necessary, and it's nice and tidy. I'm going to reroute these so they go over the top of this cable. Pull those around. And tuck those in there. That guy's going to sit there-ish. We get those to there. There we go. That's pretty good, I think. I think that's pretty fair. That's going to be invisible above the bench. Ugh. Bam. So yeah, that's basically invisible now. That'll look good. 1990s and 2000s LAN parties are the best. Too bad there were no chicks. Yeah, well, there's still an old LAN series that I go to that is still a classic style one. It is bring your own PC and bring your own camp bed to sleep on the floor, and I still really enjoy doing that. Let's see, who reckons by Wednesday will be a rat's nest again? We'll see. We'll see. It is. You can hang the switch by itself with a pair of screws. I think I'm going to do that. So yeah, I'm like I can put the switch in the wire basket, but it just doesn't sit very nicely. So, and it's difficult to access. So yeah, I think I am coming around to the idea. The only problem is I could just do it by hand. Actually, I don't have my electric drill here. My electric drill is at home, so putting screws into the underside of these desks is going to be hard work, but it can be done. So yeah, zip tie through switch holes. Maybe. Don't need 2 leads per station. Yeah, there's 2 leads per station there already. So we got 2 leads for this station, and then there's now 2 leads up here. So yeah, 2 leads per station. So that's going to be 2 stations sorted. And we've got one more, we've got 2 free sockets there. One of them's going to be for the switch. Other one is going to, the stereo, I might actually move. I think I'm going to move the amplifier down to the other end of the bench. Yeah, because of reasons. Because the amplifier going down to the other end of the bench, because it's the computer that's at that end of the bench is the one that actually plays music when I have it on. And also long term, there might, you know, if I set up a TV and stuff like that. No, I don't know actually. Forget that. I'm going to put it up there just because that's where the PC that plays it goes. So, decision made. Right, all these other cables, I'm just going to leave them on the floor for now. I'm just going to put in what I need. So let's move up the desk and do the other bench. So if I go to under bench again, so blammo, and let's go, woo, wrong one, woo. Can I get that any closer? No, I can't. Fine, in that case we'll have to go along, up, and zoom. That'll do. Okay, done. Right, that fly's driving me nuts. Oh yeah, it drives me nuts as well. Rural Dorset, man. Rural Dorset in the summer, it's really difficult to have nothing around. It'll happen, unfortunately. The middle painting, is that an owl in that painting? Yeah, that's Ori and the Will-o'-the-Wisps. You're loving the stream? Good, I'm glad someone's enjoying it. So yeah. Good, right. Let's have a look down. And I'm going to tuck in the thing, so hopefully I can see the chat from here. Right. So let's unplug that and remove. Oh, that's, well, what was I thinking? I zip that up tight. Good, cutters. Let's take this out for a moment. What do we think about the underdesk lights? I mean, I may as well have them connected. I'll leave them there for now. I think I'm going to leave them there, but leave them disconnected, and then I can easily just plug them in if I want them. They're just not going to, they're certainly not going to get used during the summer. Right, this one's a bit tougher. Let's pull all of this out. You're killing time while you wait for VMs to migrate storage. On a Saturday, I say, working on a Saturday. Oh God, that's a mess of wires. That's why we're here. Yeah. And this particular cable, yeah, this is why I want to pull that down. This is why I wanted to move the, money spider. Go away. This is why I want to move the amp to the other end of the bench, because I've got two aux cables. I've got this one, and I've got a 1.5 meter one. So if I move the amp to the other end of the bench, I don't have to use this enormously long one anymore, which will definitely be an improvement. Let's undo these. Oh God, did I solder those? I did. That's gone gross. Oh, that's a tough one. Let's carry on unplugging things while I think. This speaker wire is, yeah, okay, I'll just have to unpin everything. It's okay. Come down, be gone, pull it all out. Right, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Figure of 8 cable. Put that over there. What is this in my hand? It's just another one. Okay. Right, unplug that. Pull all this out. Network. I think there are only 3 network cables to this bench, so I want to remedy that as well. I think I've got some 5 meter patch leads, so I can run just some nice equal length cables along here. Right. If we snip that, I can reverse the speakers round to the other way. Good. That's you gone. Okay. I'm going to get a can of cider because I need it. I'm working up a sweat. Where's the blackthorn? Let's get the good stuff. Whoop. Drinking cider from a can because I'm classy. What's the maximum load on a ring main? Theoretically, it's 32 amps. However, the UK ring main is a very antiquated design. And however, it's an antiquated design that our standards still rely upon. Even though it doesn't really make sense. Am I on shot? If I sit here, yes, I am on shot. Okay. Yeah, the UK ring main is a very antiquated design. For those of you who don't know, for a UK ring main, we're on that camera, from the fuse box, there'll be a wire that comes down, goes to each of these sockets in a daisy chain, and then goes round and back again. And so theoretically, or typically it will go all the way around the room. And the idea is, like, if one end of it breaks, you can still get power flow through the other direction. So that's one of the theoretical advantages. But like, if you have broken wires in your building, you kind of have a bigger problem. So that's not really a good reason for it. The real reason for it was post-war. In post-war Britain, good quality metal was hard to come by. I don't think they were fitting copper. I think they were using aluminium or something like that, or whatever the cheaper wire was. And so they were actually they did the ring main design because it meant they could use a poorer quality cables. And because you had 2 connections going back, because it was in a ring, you could use a lower quality of cable while still maintaining a high current handling capacity. Obviously, now this is the 21st century and we don't have any such problems. You know, all of the core that you fix is good for 32 amps. But on the other hand, so it should be a non-issue. So the main wire is good for 32 amps. Each socket is good for 16 amps. So you can put a huge amount of load onto these sockets without really having a problem. As long as you don't put it all in one place is the big thing. So like theoretically, I'm wiring each one of these benches, I'm wiring to a single socket. And you might go sort of, oh, 6-way into one socket. Aren't you just wasting your current handling? Well, let's pretend that I've got 2 top-end gaming PCs pulling a kilowatt each and that they're at full load. That still means I'm only putting 2 kilowatts into a socket, and the socket is good for 2.5 kilowatts. So even if we assume the worst case scenario, it can still do it anyway. So yeah, it's basically a non-issue. Fun fact, power doesn't flow through in cables. Oh no. Mike, no, don't do it. Don't do it. It does, but it doesn't, but it does, but it doesn't. So yeah, it is very interesting though, I'll give you that. To have that conversation, we have to decide what is power. And man, I'm not going down that rabbit hole. Taking bets. Will Graham accidentally kick his drink over? This is a very good point. I'm going to put it over there. I was going to put it on the bench, but at some point I'm going to knock the bench and then knock it over. Paging Electroboom. Yeah, heckin' Veritasium versus Electroboom. Whereas all of the electronics engineers are just like, you're not wrong, but also you're overthinking it, you know? Right. Electroboom just released a new video, actually, where he makes a metal detector, and it was a really good one. I quite enjoyed Electroboom's latest video. He's going on a big old maker binge at the moment, where he's actually trying to make useful things, if you see what I mean. Right, is that going to work? I think that needs to go over the top. And I kind of appreciate it, because like his gag of just blowing stuff up, it's great, but you know, you've got to come up with a new thing now and then. There's only so many times you can blow up a capacitor and go ha ha, you know. Right, is that good? Is that too tight? Is that going to work its way out? Maybe. If I just pull a bit more, whoops. If I pull a bit more through that, I think that will go. Yeah, there we go, that's happy. I mean, obviously, if I try and pull it out, it's going to come out, but I'm not going to have children hanging off of it. Good. Right, that's set. Let's get some cables in. So, you black out your apartment when you turn on your computer. Yeah. Yeah, this is the thing. Like, in the US, it's a major problem. You know, I think Jay from Jay's 2 Cents, he had a video at one point where he demonstrated that at the end of like a 20-meter extension reel, like, hang on a sec. Ugh. In the US, if you run like a big old extension reel like this is a 25-meter extension reel, you actually drop a significant amount of power over one of these. Whereas in the UK, we're just like, what? But in the US, I seem to remember that he went through a couple of extension cords and like he managed to get the line voltage down to like the high 80s, 90 volts or something like that. And yeah, it was actually a major problem. And so it's a case of, I think that's actually the major problem of the US being on 110 volts, is that when you have high-powered devices and extension cables, it can actually be a significant issue. But then also just, I don't know, the US has a really weird power system. Like, I'm not going to mock them and going like, oh, US has blackouts all the time, third world country kind of thing. You know, they've got transmission lines that go across forests and stuff like that. The US is a big place. It's difficult to maintain infrastructure on that scale, you know, so I get it, it's hard. But over here, it's kind of wild to have those kind of problems, in my experience, unless you're mega rural anyway. I'm just picking out the nicest cables here. All right, is that the same length? Yes, good. All of these cables are the same length. I've got an extra one here, and that one's a slightly shorter boy, so we're going to get rid of that one. I don't want random cables down here that are just randomly slightly shorter. because there'll be one that will just end up being like, oh, that's the short one that doesn't reach. Nope, let's just have some nice, what are these? These are all 1.5 meter cables. Fun fact, for anyone who doesn't know, your shoulder to your opposite hand span is on average 1 meter. So if you need to figure out how long a cable is, that's 1 meter. That's 0.5 meter. Works every time. Right. 1, 2. That's the left. Clang. Australia is 220, 230, 240. Yeah, it varies. Like the UK voltage wanders up and down. I forget. I don't actually know what it officially is in the UK, but UK voltage will routinely wander up to like 142. Shush. Loud noises. Let's get my can. Let's be classy. Clang, clang, clang with that Charlie. All right. You liked Big Clive's videos on fuse boxes from around the world? Yeah, Big Clive does really cool stuff because mainly because he's worked. Anyone who's actually worked on real life stuff tends to be a lot more level-headed because they know what's actually out there in the real world. Because the way things are in theory and the way things are in reality are often two different things. So I find a lot of people who have the best experiences are the ones who will say, yeah, you're right, theoretically this is better, but when you go out into the wide world, that's not what you'll see. Because this comes up so often where people will say, you know, oh, you should buy this, you know, people should have this, that, and the other. And it's like, yes, in theory, you're absolutely right, but that's not what people will end up with. So you have to account for what people will actually end up with. And that's always very interesting in my opinion. So yeah. 250 volts, you check daily with a built-in PSU meter. Blimey. 246 measured right now in northeast Scotland. Yeah, there you go. The French have good fuse boxes. That's fair. Okay, right. Let's start measuring things up. Run these up the back. Let's go to above ground again. Where's my mouse? The UK is officially 230. Ah, okay. Hooah. Is that a good angle? That's a good angle. Trying to adjust things so I can see the chat from a distance. There we go. What is a volt? Someone will know the actual definition for that. It's going to be to do with joules, I think. I don't know actually. What is a volt? Does anyone know the answer to that? Because like a watt is something like X number of joules per second or something, if my memory serves me. It's a fairly round number. But I don't actually know what a volt is. This is a classic thing. People often say, oh, where did you learn everything and things like that. And it's a case of, yeah, fun fact, I have no official training for electronics. Come on, stay there, stay there. There we go. And you can learn a lot with no formal training. However, the problem is when you're self-taught and you have no formal training, as boring as all of the theory stuff is, it does actually mean that you can go for a very long way without actually knowing some of the fundamentals. Most of the time it won't matter, but now and then it does mean that you can make some pretty grave assumptions. Right, sticky back. Go that. Do the other one while I'm at it. Measure of pressure in an electrical circuit. Didn't Google it, honest. I mean, yes. Volt is a unit of electrical potential. We know this. But like I say, I forget, but like a watt is something like 10,000 joules per second or something like that. It actually has a value. Whereas like what is a volt? How do you define that? Go for about there, maybe about there. Oop. I'm going to regret asking that question because I think the answer is actually a lot more complicated. I think we've had this discussion on the channel before, though. I think Caradog asked that same question at some point. He was like, what is a volt? And I was like, I don't know. And I think someone came up with the answer, and I was like, okay, I see what you're saying, and I understand that, but I cannot comprehend these things because I'm too smooth-brained. The correct answer is 42. The best repair people are self-taught, more in touch with the customer's needs. I think there's a balancing point to it. At some point, I keep threatening to do a beginner's guide to electronics from a repair perspective, like explain to people what is a capacitor, what is a resistor. When I say pull-up resistor or bypass capacitor, what do I mean by that? Initially, I was like, oh, I'm not qualified to talk about that. But actually, in a way, I feel like I can answer that in a way that is useful to people. Because usually, when you look up Electronics 101, when you look up any kind of Electronics 101 about, say, a capacitor, the first thing that people start doing is they get a whiteboard out and they start talking about capacitor discharge curves, and they start writing out the equations that show you how you calculate the charge rate of a capacitor and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't need to know that. Like, don't get me wrong, it's important that this can be calculated, but that's not relevant as far as I'm concerned. What I need to know is that what the capacitor does is that it stores an electrical charge, and I need to know what its purpose is in typical circuits. And that, I think, is more useful. So instead of just immediately glazing everyone's eyes over with the numbers and the theory, is actually say a bypass capacitor next to a chip is acting as a small power reservoir. So when the chip suddenly becomes active and takes a gulp of power from its power rail, there is a small reservoir of power right next door for it to draw from. And that maintains stability on its power rail. You know, that is a much more useful answer than just suddenly delving into the theory of how fast that capacitor can charge and discharge, in my opinion. And so, there comes a point where, and I think it's important to say, the capacitor will charge and discharge in a predictable way. There is maths and there are equations to calculate this, but we don't need to talk about that because that's not relevant to what we're doing. However, if you want to, you can look that up, and if you look up more advanced classes, you can learn that kind of thing. So that's kind of the theory, you know. That's exactly what you mean, X-Raider. Yeah. So it's like, I'm not saying that theory is a waste of time. You know, there are massive gaps in my knowledge because of my lack of formal training. And like, for example, I vaguely know how to play bass guitar in a sense of I have memorized some tabs for songs that I like and I can replay them. But whenever someone says, I don't say that I can play the bass guitar because I don't know any musical theory. If you put sheet music in front of me, if you put musical score, you know, notation, I can't read that. I don't know what that means. If you ask me to play a C chord, I don't know where that is. All I've done is memorize where certain notes are on the fretboard, and I can replay those from memory. That's not knowing how to play an instrument. That's just having memorized some songs on an instrument. That's the difference. You can only get so far being self-taught before you actually have to sit down and learn theory. And it's kind of the same with everything. You know, you can cover the basics. You can self-teach yourself enough to be able to pick up an instrument and play a song that you've memorized. But there comes a time when you don't actually understand why the notes are there. And when you actually understand the theory of it, you can start writing your own music because you understand why the notes are where they are and stuff like that. So, yeah. Where did I put my cider? There it is. Printing a Parkside to Ryobi battery adapter. Neato. I've got a 3D printer. Here's some previews, people. Hang on a minute. I'm excited about this. I turn that round to there. There's my Creality Ender 5 review coming soon. That's a Creality Ender 5 that I've been sent for review, and I've been 3D printing stuff all week on it. I've never used a 3D printer before, but yeah, I'm doing a learn, and I'm very into it right now. So yeah, that's coming up. That's going to be a video that is fundamentally titled "I've never used a 3D printer before. Here's how to 3D print." Where basically I'm going to say what the hell is bed leveling, you know, and what the hell is slicing. So yeah, will you custom print nameplates for computers? Maybe. I'll show you a thing that I have made. The last thing I made. Let me just pull it out of this computer. Whoop. This is a GPU anti-sag bracket that I made yesterday. So it's very simple, you know. It's literally just a block. But the important thing about this, it's got the Adamant IT logo on it and everything. But the important thing is, I made this up in Blender and then 3D printed it. So I made this from scratch. There was no reference design other than the logo that was pre-designed. But I did that with nothing but the logo file. So as simple as it is, this is kind of really important because this is from scratch. I didn't download something from Thingiverse for this. I made that in Blender. So I'm like, as simple as that is, I'm really proud of this because this proves that now at any time when I look at a computer and I'm like, I need a little thing to hold a thing there, I can make that from scratch now, which is kind of cool, you know. So that's what I've been working on this week. You've got an Ender 6 and you use Onshape. Oh, that's fair, yeah. Like, the only reason why I'm using Blender is that I already know Blender. So yeah, print some cable holders for the benches. Oh, yeah, I've got cable holders. Stop mocking my... these are IKEA, man. That's cool. So... You know someone who made a 3D printed Joy-Con dock better than the basic one? That's cool, yeah. There's so many things. I kind of want to start browsing Thingiverse and just looking at cool stuff, but I need to start thinking. Like, part of me was tempted, like, possibly in the near future, maybe next week or the week after when Caradog is back in, I almost want to do a 3D printing stream where we've got to find weird things. And like, the rule is it's got to be something that prints in like 20 minutes or something. But that's the problem. You can't do it on stream because everything takes ages, but it would just be fun to print off really weird and wacky stuff. That would be funny. So yeah, you need to learn Blender. Blender's really easy. How do you set Blender to millimeters? I'm not sure actually, because I was working in Blender in meters. So I was doing like 0.01 to be 10 millimeters, to be 10 mils. No, 10 centimeters. No, yeah, 10 millimeters. But when I imported into the slicer, the slicer that I was using, Cura, immediately said, scaled up model by 10,000%. I was like, oh, okay. But I'm using Ultimaker Cura as my slicer, and that gives me a final physical dimensions of the print. So I can scale it. I can scale the final print in the slicing app, which means that it doesn't really matter how big it is in Blender, because I'll scale it in Slicer anyway. So yeah. So yeah, I use Blender to model and then Ultimaker Cura to slice. So yeah, Cura is open source. Every 3D company uses. Yeah, exactly that. So yeah, Ultimaker, I believe, is the official Cura. I think they bought it. But yeah, I say that just because they're the ones who are calling it Cura anyway. I might be wrong. Like, am I wrong? Is there a Cura that is not associated with Ultimaker? Right, yeah, these are zip tied back. This is fine. Right, let's tidy these cables. Length match those. That's probably about right. Length match these. They don't need to be length matched. I'm just going to try and aim for that. That'll do. And I'm going to do the thing. Bam. The table legs are in the way, but whatever. I think Ender renamed. Yeah. Creality have their own slicing software, which is not called Cura. I did try the Creality slicing software, and I didn't find it very good. It didn't seem to be very good at building supports, was my problem with it. While I was testing, I threw a tricky model at it, and was just like, okay, try and make supports for this. And the results that it came up with just didn't make sense. You know, I previewed the model and I was like, that's not going to work. That's just going to fall apart, you know. Whereas when I tried Ultimaker Cura, it was much, much more verbose. It had far more options and settings in it. And that actually was giving me previews that made sense and made me think, yeah, that looks like that's going to work, you know. So that's why I ended up going with that. Right, that's one, and bring these across. I need to check the time in a minute, see how we're doing for time. This is a job that is very, very simple, but very time consuming. Once upon a time, before I ran computer shops, I used to set up computer labs in state schools, and one of the jobs that I loathed doing was cable tidying the underside of the desks. It would literally take days to do it all. It's just yeah. There's probably efficient ways of doing it these days that would not take days, but I was not quick at it, if I'm honest. And this just reminds me of doing that. This seemed easier at the other end of the desk. I'm not sure how I did it now. Maybe if I just put it between those hooks. We don't have a switch that needs to go here, so... Oh, stop coming out. Okay, that'll do. That's nice and tidy. All right. Got an idea for what I can do to demo the 3D printer on stream to make. Where did I put? There it is. Oop. What's your idea, Raider? 3D print a phone charging stand? Yeah, maybe. I do that. That's not a bad idea. I do that if I put a wireless charging thing on it. So yeah. If you suffer from warping, you can use a spray-on glue, which works a treat. I've not had any issues with sticking because my Ender 5 came with a polycarbonate build plate. And if anything, stuff sticks too well to the polycarbonate build plate. It's not caused an issue yet, but I have to... when the print is done, the model doesn't come off of the build plate. You have to take the build plate off of the bed and then like bend it and peel it off and just get the scraper under there and everything. I have the opposite problem. I'm not sure which is better at the moment. So yeah, your experience, you hate your Ender, but you love your Anycubic. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Ender is a broad range of products. And based on the other review that I watched of the Ender 5S1 that I have, Creality are a very oddball company, and they make a lot of... Creality seem to make a lot of printers, and some of them are good, and some of them are a matter of, why does this exist, kind of thing. But based on my experience of using this one so far, and based on other videos and research that I've been doing, the Ender 5 S1 seems to be a pretty good match. They seem to have a pretty good lineup of just a stock setup that makes sense. It's not perfect, but it's pretty decent, is so far what I've been understanding. So yes. And it does have some auto leveling. It certainly doesn't need to be leveled on every use. So yeah. That's why you get AIOs in the computer labs, much simpler wiring. That's a good idea. Wasn't really an option when I was in that business, but let's see, produce a slicer with Arachne algorithm. I see. Yeah, some of the support settings, I think my beef with Cura's support settings so far is that you can customize it, but you can't manually tweak any of the supports. You just kind of have to adjust the settings, hit slice, and just see what it comes out with. And if it puts a support in an oddball place that you're like, I don't like that support, the only thing you can do is just adjust the settings and roll the dice again. You can't click on a support and just manually move it somewhere else. But I don't have enough experience to know whether that is something that is actually possible or not. So, that a fly in your shop, or is it on your screen? There is a fly buzzing around in here. The only way to fix it, basically, like I say, rural Dorset, we get flies out here because it's the countryside. To fix that, I need to open the doors to get airflow through the shop, and that blows all the flies out. But I can't do that while I'm trying to do a live stream in here, basically. So, okay, right. That's power. We need network. I'm going to see if I've got some small screws, and I'm going to see if I can mount that switch underneath the bench. So let me see if I've got a couple of small screws over here. There's a spot on one of my other workbenches where I put spare screws for things like this. See if I've got anything over here. I'm seeing a lot of screws that I'm just like, oh, I didn't know these were here. But I'm not seeing what I need. I think I've used them all up. I need some very basic wood screws. The hell is that? Oh yeah, oh, okay, I know what that is. Ignore me. What's that? Nope, those are fan screws. More fan screws, all the fan screws. Oh. Nope, that's also useless. Oh heck. Okay, I don't think we're gonna mount the yeah, I don't think we're gonna mount the switch just because I don't have any wood screws handy. Like I can get some, but I don't have any to hand right now, this moment. Yeah, nope, that's a bust. Fine, let's just get it plugged in. Okay, so let's go back over to there. Actually, we kind of want the under desk view. Let's do that. Let's do that. And let's do that. Wah, wah. A loop. All right. Yeah, I mean, I could use some of these cable tie mounts. Let's see what our options are. Zip ties. Where did I put? Oh, it's still down there. Oh. All right, so. Yeah, I have to make noises when I'm doing things. It's how you know I'm doing things. So there's 2 screw holes on the bottom of this. I don't think I can actually strap that down in a meaningful way without using screws. I would have to have like zip ties going all the way around that, and I I tell you what's going to happen is I do that and I'm going to come in next week and just find it's fallen off. So yeah, no, that's not going to happen. I'm just going to put it in the cable tidy basket. Let's just be done with it. I know it goes. I know it works because that's how it was set up before. So you put that there. It's going to plug in there. It's going to go along to there. So I'm going to redo this and just take some of the slack out of it. All right, let's have a look. All right. Noises are good. Yeah, I agree. That's kind of why I do it. It fills in the dead space sometimes. As long as it's not getting ridiculous anyway. Right. Put that up there. Oh, get in there. And where is... Right, power's going to go there. Now, here's the question. Do I have it with the LEDs facing forward or the ports facing forward? If I put it like that, it's easier to connect and disconnect stuff from it. However, if I put it like that, I can actually see port status. So if something isn't working, I can actually see if we've got a light on it or not. I think I'd rather have the status LED. Blinking lights forward, sideways compromise. I can't do either if it's sideways. Easier port access. Okay, I've seen 2 for lights and 1 for port access. So I'm going with that. All right. And this is a, yeah, so they're at the same end. Okay, that's fine. Oops. I was going to go there. Okay, right. Then that is the quote-unquote WAN cable. So this is going to come up, and this switch has got priority ports on it. I don't know how much they're weighted, but I will use them just in case. So I'll put the uplink port on the high priority. And then I need to route this cable so it stays there. Right. That's going to go in the back of the cable tidy. There we go. That's fine. And I might pin that cable to the wall, but that requires putting a sticky pad on the wall, which I don't really want to do. This cable was supposed to be temporary, but again, something, temporary solutions last the longest. I'll leave that for now. I'm not dealing with that right now. Oh, I do want to pin it to the bottom of the desk though. Yeah, I'm going to deal with that. It's not an elegant solution, but it will do. Oh, heck. Boop. Ah. There we go. That gets that guy out the way. Oh, and the tension on that. Can I put... Yes, I can push that back up into the ceiling. Right, how does that look? That looks not good enough. That's okay. Hang on a sec. More slack. There we go. All right. Done and done. So, network cables. What have I got here? I'm completely off shot, but that's all right. Let's see, put a mirror behind it. Yes. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's a 3 meter. 1, 2, that's a 2 meter. And 1, 2, 3, that's another 3 meter. Right, so we've got 2 meter for this station, then 3 meter for the left, and then 3 meter for the right, and then I've got some 5 meter patch leads out the back, which will reach down to the end section. So if I get one of those, I've got all the cables I need. That's fine. Cable acquired. How are we doing for time? How long has it taken me to achieve all of this? 2 hours. Ugh. It is 6 o'clock. Okay. Oh. 5 meter. The network cable gets some trunking. Yeah, I think I will. I was never certain if that cable was going to stay there, but there's not really an issue with the cable position there, because the only other way of getting a cable to this point of the shop would be it either has to be trunked up the wall at some point, or it has to be drilled through the wall at another point, and I don't want to drill holes. So yeah, trunking it down from the ceiling I think is the way to go. And at this point, that particular cable is almost certainly going to stay. So yeah, I think I will get some trunking. And actually, well, no, I don't think I'm going to trunk it. I think, to be honest, I'm more likely to buy just some cable tacks, because cable tacks, I can literally just get a pin hammer and just do, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 cable tacks, and that will be pinned to the wall and be nice and neat and tidy. And it won't put trunking on the wall. I think trunking is hideous, personally. I really hate trunking. So I try to avoid it whenever possible. I know that cables aren't exactly attractive. If you've got a lot of cables, then trunking is obviously makes sense. But for a single wire, I think one wire that is nicely pinned along the wall looks a lot more attractive than a lot of trunking. All right, plug these in. So 1. Right, which was the short one? Was it the yellow one? Yes. Yellow one goes there. And then blue. These are probably going to get unplugged and plugged in half a dozen times while I figure this out, but when I'm routing cables, the first thing I do is just plug the cable in and put it to where it needs to go, just so I can actually understand what the layout is going to be. That needs to go over the top of that. All right. Oh, I'm a fool. I need these to be in the cable ties up there. I'll have to redo those. That's all right though. It's going to go there. It's going to go there. Right, let's go above the bench again. You got weather incoming, you're going to bounce. All right, no problem. Thanks for dropping by. Catch you soon. Let's see. Bench cam. And let's look left. Wrong one. Left. What is trunking? Yeah, trunking is plastic containing. So like, for example, this white bit down here, that's cable trunking. So that's white boxing that has cables running through it. This is quite big trunking because this has got all the mains cables going through it. But you get small trunking as well. So you can get small trunking that's, I don't know, an inch by an inch or something like that. Right. Network cables. Network cables. Yeah, okay. Let's redo those. Redo those zip ties. I've got a love-hate relationship with zip ties because you have to. They're not reusable, which sucks. But also, like, if you have to cut one and run it again, who cares? You just cut it and put a new one in. Oop. Get that guy out. This all looks very simple. However, that's just simply because this is how I should have done it a long time ago. However, I didn't. And the amount of times these network cables fall down the back of this bench every time I unplug them is mind-numbing. So yeah, like this is actually going to be such a good quality of life improvement to these benches, just simply having 2 power cables and a network cable just zip tied up the back there. Mouse and the keyboard is going to be tricky. I think the mouse and the keyboard are just going to be a little bit messy above the desk, but they move around so much that I don't see the point in methodically cable tying them in place. But what this will all mean is that whenever I swap one of these computers out, I can take the computer down, monitor, keyboard and mouse can come away, and when I come to put something else here, there will be 2 power cables and a network cable. And they will all be plugged in, they will all work straight away. Whoop. Another one of these in. Trim the excess. There we go. Bam. Why can't we edit YouTube comments? I thought you could. I mean, you can't edit stuff in chat. Yeah, you can't edit chat comments, but yeah, because it's technically not a comment, it's chat. Hello, Sai, how you doing? I'm tidying up my front bench. I'm tidying up my front counter. So yeah, I've managed to hold a captive audience for 2 hours of me undoing wires and plugging them in. It's glorious. This is a social experiment, and you've all fallen prey to it. Okay, right. This bench is theoretically done. So I'm going to put up a couple of computers here as a. Oh wait, no, I've got to sort. Yeah, I've got to sort this out. All right, no, we've got further to go. Ignore me. Right. So the network cables. I'm going to have. I've already got a couple of. Yeah, I'm going to put those there. That is going to need to be redone. I've got a wire tie here, actually. That'll do. Am I on short down here? Yeah, let's go to the underbench cam. This is what happens without Caradog. It's true. Caradog told me that this was a bad idea and it would be boring. Prove him wrong, everyone. Smash the like button. Whoop. All right. Autistic cabling time. You're stuck at your dad's birthday thingy. Unfortunate. All right. Everyone hates cabling. Yeah, everyone hates cabling, but it's got to be done. That's the problem with it. It's got to be done. All right, let's put that in there. Just wire tie those in place. Whoop. So like, there's going to be, if you look under the bench, there's always going to be some visible wires. The only way to avoid that is to box them in with trunking. But I don't want to do that because then it's very difficult to remove stuff, which is the other reason why I don't like trunking. I know it just slides open, but then you open the trunking and everything falls out, and it's just, no. So this is the way I'm doing it. I have made my decision. Okay, that's going over there. So these network cables are going over to the next bench. So we need to sort this out now. So what are we going to do? Am I going to coil these? Let's unplug that. So what if I go above, come in with the rest of the wires, then coil it. I'm trying to see if I can avoid like having to wire wrap the cables themselves, because these wire racks are designed to not need that. That can go in there. Oh no, I hate that. It needs to go under those cables. There we go. Okay, that's that one. Ow! Oh. That's the first time I've banged my head on that so far. I'm amazed that's not happened more this stream so far. I'm okay. Are you not entertained? All right, so coil it up. Flip that over so it sits atop. Put that in there. I've got just a bit too much. That's okay though, I think. Plug it in and just push that onto the rack things. That's passable. It's not going to fall out, and it's invisible. Very nice. All right, good. Right, and the other two cables will go into the other rack to tidy. Good. Bam. Ooh. Cider time. Anyone else tempted to stick their fingers in the socket? No. Entertained we are. Good. This is ambitious. You could never motivate yourself to do this. Neither could I. And that's the other reason why I was just like, sod it, we're doing it on stream. Like, fun fact, for a lot of creators, streaming is often a good thing, because if you're streaming and you have an audience, you suddenly are very motivated to get on with it, because you've got people who are watching and waiting for something to happen. So you can't sit and procrastinate. Like, if I spent an evening after work doing this, I would spend half the evening just sitting on Discord, not doing the job. And I'm spending half of this stream drinking cider and talking to the camera, but we're getting it done. We're getting there. So yeah. Good. Right. I'm waiting for ignition. We've had ignition on that one so far. Right. Let's do something that actually looks like there's some results. I'll put some computers up here. They're not going to be... So this bench gets the less nice computers. So the left-hand position is reserved for customer computers that are doing things that take ages. So if there's a customer computer in and it has to sit and run mem test, or it has to sit and do burn-in tests that's going to take hours, it goes here, because then it's not taking up bench space in the workshop. Because it's actually really inconvenient to run towers in the workshop just because of the setup in there. So I've got a customer build that will go there. Then the right-hand bench, this is supposed to have whatever the second-hand computer that I'm trying to shill is. So that will be, there's the Fantex. So right now, the second-hand shill computer is this Fantex. That's going to go there. Move that along. And where's the customer PC? That's the Corsair. Struggle. God, it's a heavy boy, this guy. Very dusty as well, but I haven't gotten to it yet. This definitely needs pinning back. I don't want to put a sticky pad on the wall though. I don't have any like 3M command strips, but like literally just a single sticky pad would hold that in place. Sod it, I'm putting one there. I'm going to put one there for now. Is that a fart, or are you just happy to hear it? It was me going, oh. How long is your single job flow? Oh, right now at least a week. Yeah, it's way too long at the moment for various reasons that I'm not gonna go into. Too damn long. Put first computer box to start a table to reduce the bow effect from weight. Yeah, one of the computers will be in the center. Like for the right hand, I like having the desk. I like having the tower on the right hand side. So here there'll be a tower in the middle, which is just unavoidable, but it will be okay because it has been up to this point. Over here, I'm putting it over on the left just to keep free space because this computer doesn't need to look pretty over here. It just needs to be in position. So, right, I'm gonna do that, which I'm not a fan of, but it's necessary. I can live there for now. I'll do. I don't like it being like that. However, given what I have on hand right now, it gets the cable out of the way. And at a later date, I'll do that properly. I've not pushed that onto the wall super hard, so that can probably still come off without damaging the wall. And failing that, like I've got more of this paint out back, so I can just touch it up if I have to. So yeah, perfect is terrible. Yeah. Tower on the right is always correct. I agree. Get some more legs. Yeah, they're not IKEA legs. They're just eBay. Oh no, Amazon, sorry. Amazon legs. But yes, I need to put a center leg on each one and like put it probably at the back would do. I'm also considering just attaching these to the wall somehow. These need supporting. Up in the upcoming behind the scenes videos, there is a video of me building these desks. They're pretty sketchy. However, like this is 40mm thick MDF. It's not gonna break. I wouldn't want to stand on one of these, I'll give you that. But even though it bows a little bit, it's fine, basically. So the main issue with them is that they wobble if you lean on them. That's my biggest beef with them. So heavy duty angle brackets. That would probably be it. Like if they were just fixed to the wall and had a center leg, that would make them pretty rigid. But yeah, we'll see. I think the other thing the reason why I haven't done it as well is I'm considering just getting a carpenter in and just saying, I want these permanently fixed in place. Because originally I put them all on legs because I wanted to be able to modify the layout of the shop because I didn't know where all the tables were going to go. So I wanted to be able to pick them up and move them. However, This has been the layout for a while now, and I've no intention of changing this layout. It's the layout that makes sense. So yeah, IKEA sell the same legs. I mean, they're chrome legs. Yeah, it's just, that's not unique to IKEA. So, so yeah, the nearest IKEA is miles away. So, okay, what was I doing? I was setting these things up. So let's move this all up. I'm gonna put, this guy gets a mouse pad. Right, power cable. Top mount power supply, I might add. And power to the monitor. Network. And it needs a keyboard and mouse. Oh, this is a horrible keyboard and mouse. Is this really the set I'm giving it? No, this is the spare set. This one had GameMax set goes there. Oh yeah, this one uses the Razer and the Habit mouse. Whoop. That's going to go there. HDMI. Am I closed for today? I close at 3 p.m. on Saturdays. Yeah, I close at 3 p.m. And then do the podcast in the afternoons. It was originally a half day just because Saturdays are generally fairly quiet anyway. So it doesn't make sense to be open all day. Although arguably I could get more work done, but I don't know. I guess it's kind of a softer day. Dust. There goes that. I need a wireless. Yeah, I'm stuck in a love-hate relationship with keyboards and mice here. I want to have some gamer keyboards and mice, but also I'm kind of tempted to just stick Logitech wireless keyboard and mouse setups just along the bench here, just because then there would be no cables. Because they're fine. They're not gamer per se, but they work. Right, that's going to go around the monitor to bury some cable slack. The mouse is an unwinnable fight. There just has to be a trailing cable at some point. There's just no way around it. I guess I could have the mouse just go straight under there, but also this is the thing, is I could say, fine, I'll have the mouse go under the tower and then it can just go under there and just come up the back. And there would be some slack under the tower. That's how I would do it if this was my home bench. But this computer gets unplugged and moved once or twice a week when a customer comes in with something that I have to plug in. So there's no point in, so the cable tidying needs to be in such a way that I can very quickly just tear it down and put it up again. That's what makes this difficult. Right. This keyboard, and that's why I'm pulling it around the back here, because it just means that I can unplug these, lay them down without ruining and just have a cable tidy that makes sense, if you see what I mean. That's going to tidy there. Is that long enough? No. It's going to have to be too long. All right, that's what we're going with. A little bit of cable slack is okay. The trick is to have smooth loops. All right, there we go. The keyboard sits half on and half off of this mouse mat. That's actually unavoidable. This mouse mat is, I like this mouse mat. It's a big thick boy, but it's actually not a very convenient size, if I'm brutally honest. Oh, that kind of works. If I put it portrait. That looks cool. I'm into it. So the mouse cable just kind of goes across the front of the monitor here, but like I say, that's unavoidable because if I put it going straight up there, it's just going to be in the way every time I want to move that tower. So decision made. That's what I'm rolling with. Right. Now I'm going to get this guy set up again. Right. Power to the tower. Monitor. Now this monitor needs, what have I got here? I've got a DisplayPort cable for it. What other cables have I got for this bench? I've got 2 DisplayPort cables and another HDMI. So I'm going to have a HDMI there. I'm going to have I need a DisplayPort cable for the big boy monitor. Then this monitor, let's see, DisplayPort is probably fine. Yeah, this needs a VGA cable attached to it as well for when a potato comes in, but I can put that in later. DisplayPort, and I shall put, I can go in that. Up the back. There's no way of just showing you guys what I'm doing here, but I'm plugging cables in, so just take my word for it. Network. That network needs a little bit more slack, but I think it's okay. Right. What is this? Okay, that's the power cable having a bit too much slack. That can hide behind the monitor. There we go. Right, that's there. There are some visible cables there, but that's reasonable. Like I said, we're not going to have invisible cables. It can't be done with a setup that changes constantly. However, it's an awful lot better than it was, and from standing height, there are no visible cables under the bench, which is the objective. Then that's a test keyboard. Good. All right. Adobe RGB. Who the hell moves the mouse so much? Yeah. The thing with a mouse mat, it either needs to be small, like, don't get me wrong, I love how thick and spongy this mouse mat is, but it needs to either be smaller, so it doesn't take up so much space, or it needs to be desk mat sized, so you can fit the keyboard on there as well. It's in a bit of a weird no man's land, this mouse mat, unless you only use one corner of it. But yeah, it's 5mm thick though, which is super cool. It's nice and spongy. Where's the LPT1 printer port cable? Dead, thankfully. Is DisplayPort better than HDMI? Most of the time, yes, because most of the HDMIs you're going to encounter will be HDMI 2.0, and DisplayPort has more bandwidth, and thus can give you higher refresh rates at higher resolutions. However, DisplayPort 2.1, which is the new one that you'll see on higher end cards, HDMI 2.1 is better than most of the DisplayPorts that you'll encounter. DisplayPort is in a very weird place at the moment. There is a newer version of it, but it's not very common. So most of the time, DisplayPort is superior. However, you'll want to check what your graphics card has and what your monitor has. If in doubt, DisplayPort is probably going to be better, but there are some exceptions. So yeah. No audio through DisplayPort. No, DisplayPort can do audio. I think. Someone confirm that. DisplayPort's got audio, right? Am I going mad? Let's see. DPL's audio. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. HDMI 2.x. 2. What though? Yeah, that's the thing. And also, DisplayPort 1.4a is really old. Like pretty much everything has got DisplayPort 1.4b at least, if my memory serves me. So yeah, good. Right, let's move up to the other bench. Whoop. All right. So, oh God, we've got, oh no, I forgot about this. So the reason why I've got this cable here is I want a network cable that goes to the front of the shop. So I need to terminate this, or well, I don't need to terminate it right now, but I do need to run it along the thing. So I'm going to unravel this, and this needs to go along underneath the bench as well. This is really terrible wire, this, but it's all I've got right now, so it'll do. Intel GPUs have got DP 2.0. Yeah, I think so. Not that they particularly need them, or need it rather. Right, I'm just going to undo my wire tie and stick this guy in there as well. Ah, no, heck. Right, it's coming along. It's coming along, and it's going to plug in over there. Boop. Right. Right, okay, network cables. We're nearly there. How are we doing for time? Oh God, I've got 15 minutes to finish this. Right, focus time. It's 4:23 a.m. and Graham is still cabling his bench. No, I've looked at the time, it's fine. We're almost there. Oh, this was not supposed to be a 3-hour stream, but also I knew it would be a 3-hour stream. Okay, got to bring all of these along. Put them into the wire thing and then split them up. So we've got a short one that's going to go up to there. Am I on a shot? Yeah, pretty much. I've got the 5-meter boy that's going to go up to the other computer. And then we've got the very long boy that's going to go just all the way across. Sort him out separately in a moment. Right. Jammers. It's a shame I didn't take any before and after shots for this. I guess I can take some screen caps from the stream. But yeah, like, as much as this hasn't been terribly entertaining to watch as such, you know, we've just been going with the conversation, and as slow progress as this has been, I think we're going to end up with something that's actually a pretty good result. which I'm happy about. And I think I've opted for a setup that makes sense as well. Like, I could have tried to have keyboards and mice cable tidied in down here and stuff like that, but I know that would not have worked long term. Power and network, I think, is the only thing that should actually be permanent on this desk, because that's the only thing that's actually universal across the computers. Oh, I've skinned my knuckles on the wall. Ow. There we go. Whew. Looks nicer than your shop. Did you tidy under your desks? Because like you posted pictures of your new benches in your shop, Si, and your new benches look great. Have you got a lot of sin underneath your benches, Si? Do you need to confess? Well, if nothing else, maybe I've inspired everyone else to cable tidy their desks. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of these things, these cable timeouts. Like these things get a bad rep. However, these and cable ties, you just stick them under your desk and you zip tie cables to them. They work, you know. And like if you want to, one trick that I do, the way my desk at home is wired up is I've got a bunch of these under there, and I have cable ties where I've looped the cable tie through them, but I've only done up the cable tie by like a couple of clicks. So I just have a plastic loop that I can thread wires through, and they just hang. It's not tight, so that means that I can poke wires through and remove them without cutting the cable tie. And so that's how I run my bench at home, and that gives me something that is actually modifiable, but still tidy. So yeah. When you paint it, you'll fit all the cables to the wall underneath. Oh, that's fair, yeah. What's the third poster next to Zelda? Let's see. So on the left, hang on a minute. Let's go. Whoop. We got Hollow Knight. So this Hollow Knight poster, I really like. This is a cool poster. Hollow Knight is a really cool game. There we go. This poster is not particularly high quality when you see it in real life. The print quality on this isn't very good, but from a distance it's fine. When you get up close it looks bad, but from a range it looks great. So we've got Hollow Knight, we've got Ori and the Will of the Wisps, because Ori and Ori and the Blind Forest are very, very pretty games, highly recommended. Both Hollow Knight and Ori are Metroidvanias. We've got Zelda Link's Awakening. Zelda Link's Awakening originally came out on the original Game Boy and was one of the first games that I ever owned. So Link's Awakening always has a very special place in my heart. That's the Switch remake poster. And then we've got, that's just a generic Spirited Away poster. It looks nice, but it's a bit too dark. Oh, that's my face. The Spirited Away poster is a bit too dark. I want to replace this with something else. Also, it's not game related, so it's kind of not in line with the rest of the posters. And then finally, I've got a generic Sonic poster. This, I don't think this is official artwork, but it's... however, it's fundamentally, it more or less relates to Sonic Mania. So I assume this is just generic Sonic Mania concept art. Certainly that's the theming of it anyway. So yeah, those are the posters. And Whiplash. Hello, Chunky Chunk. How are you? Am I into car audio? Not particularly. I have some knowledge of car audio because I have a 90s. I've always driven 90s cars, and generally, if you drive a 90s car, you have to customize your audio at some point. But it's been a while. Anyone know why there's no canonical YouTube or Google app for the desktop, so you don't have to log in every time or chat on your phone? I mean, you shouldn't have to log in every time anyway, but yeah, need some better prints of them. I'd not, you know, actually, Si, the thought hadn't occurred to me, but I'll consider that, especially like for the Hollow Knight poster. I'd have to find high quality original artwork for it. The problem is, these are A2, and when I bought these frames, I was like, oh, A2 frames, really common, easy. I'll just find some A2 posters. No one makes posters in A2. Movie posters are a different size, so it's really hard to find posters that are this size of frame. So yeah, that's kind of the problem. But also the reason why these are here, though, is that this used to be a hair salon. Oh no, we painted, it's fine. Oh, it's not an issue anymore. The original reason why I put them up is that previously there was big white patches behind each of these where mirrors were previously mounted. But obviously I painted in here, so that's not an issue anymore. But whatever. So yeah, you can print any size, exactly. I've got to find the high quality artwork for it, though. Anyway. Right, let's get this. I've got to get this heckin' bench done because we're at the 3-hour marker. I've been here too long. I've been here too long. Got to shoot early. No problem. Catch you later. What car do I drive? I drive a Subaru Legacy twin turbo at the moment. Japanese import. Subaru Legacy was sold in the UK, but not the turbo. If you want the turbo, you've got to import it. Right. I'm going to put, have I tidied? Right, let's tidy this up. Let's get this done. Let's get done. It's time to finish. Right, how am I going to do this long boy cable going down the back? I think this guy needs to actually be separate. I need the under desk cam. God damn it. Badam? What the hell? Oh, that one. There we go. That's the one I want. No idea what that view was just then. Hello. The LED strips. Oh yeah, these LED strips, I'm going to leave them disconnected for now. I will make up my mind at a later date what I'm actually doing with those, I think. All right, let's undo this. Right, this guy needs to just run along the back of the desk. Get that threaded all the way through. And then ultimately this cable is going to go around to the front window because I'm going to have a demo PC in the front window, which is going to double as a demo PC and a game server. So yeah, technically this second-hand PC that's on top of the bench that's running at the moment, that has the game server running on it. It's just not doing anything yet. But yeah, oh, that needs to be above those cables. Damn it. Kasai. Every time I say damn it, I think about Vegeta's English voice actor going, damn it. There we go. Right, that's going to go there. Now it goes along there. And this is going to want another sticky pad at the end. And this cable is literally just going to fly along the underside of the desk. Ow. Oh, sitting on it. Oh, it needs to go above these as well. I was saying earlier on how I used to set up IT labs in state schools. Shush. And sometimes that included running the network cabling. And man, I don't miss doing structured cabling through a building. Okay, right. Sticky pad. All right. Next, I'll have a CNC machine running. Not yet. Am I into Hondas? I've never been into Hondas, to be honest. Not my cup of tea. I don't hate on them. I think usually my beef is that a lot of Honda owners massively overestimate Hondas. And like, everyone's just like, oh, when VTEC kicks in, yo. And I'm like, if VTEC excites you, then you've never driven a turbo. And I know that's savage, but it's true. Right, there we go. Let's see. Man Cave Hobbies, you've got a Ford. Oh, you got an Escort RS Turbo. That's very cool. It's good to see those still running. I was never a big Ford fanboy, but obviously, like, the Escort RS Turbo is one of those legendary cars, and like I'm a big fan of. I was a massive fan of touring cars, so and like the older hatchbacks, because like obviously the Escort RS is a hatchback, but because it's got that flat boot on it, you still have that saloon shape to it, so you still get that touring car look kind of thing, which is very much my jam. So yeah, turbo efficient on upper mountains. This is true. Love your Audi S3. My good friend drives an Audi S3, and I was not a fan of Audis, but then when he got his S3, and after I'd been on a couple of rides in that, I was like, you know what, this is a really nice place to be, you know, because part of me was just like, oh, you know, it's an Audi when I'm not really into Audis, and it's an S3, not an RS3, so it's not the top model either. But even though it's not the top model, it's actually really nice, and the RS3 is actually just obnoxiously overpriced. So as a sensible daily driver, the S3 is actually a really nice car, and yeah, I've got to respect that choice, quite frankly. All right, I'm done with that cable, so I'm going to stop making pinging noises. Now we've got to tidy this guy up. So that network cable needs to go over the top. Can we make that work? I think I can make this work. That's going to go up to there. Oh, balls. I should have routed this before I put in the new cable ties. That's going to make my life difficult here, but I think we can make it happen. Just run that round the back and just hook it over the hooks. That's one. And second guy. Oh, it needs to go over things. Oh, I'm just gonna have to undo it. Yeah, I'm undoing it. The amount of time it will take me to sort this out, I could just put a new zip tie in. Let's see. Chris K, hello. I'm curious about the camera that you're using for this shot. Looks like you can move it via the computer. Does it stream over Wi-Fi? You're happy with it? The cameras that I'm using are this is the Insta360 Link, which is a webcam. It's a standard USB webcam, but it has 3-axis pan tilt and roll, and it has zoom. So it is a full gimbal controlled webcam with half decent digital zoom on it. Like, this is almost full digital zoom, and as you can see, it's a pretty good shot. So I stand for these things at the moment. They're not cheap, you know, it's an expensive webcam, but in my opinion, it is the best webcam money can buy out of all of the webcams. So I have 2 of these now. One of them was bought for me by one of the channel contributors, by one of my patrons. And after I did a review of it, Insta360 reached out to me and they said, hey, do you want to look at some more of our stuff? So I actually also have, they sent me a second one, and I have the Insta360 Flow, which is a handheld gimbal selfie stick. I don't know what you call it, for putting your phone in. And so I'm working on a review of that as well, which I am using for doing like B-roll footage and stuff like that. So when I when I build a new PC and I need to do like the hero shots where you do the shot, that's a technical term, I've basically now got a stabilized selfie stick for it, kind of thing. Right, over the top. Okay, right, that cable needs to be in there. That will do. It's not ideal, but it's good enough. That can go in with it. Right, now we run that up. Sorry. This bit here is a problem. I think I'm going to have to put another sticky pad just like there or something just to hold these wires up to stop them sagging down. The only other way to avoid that is to pull them all tight, and I don't want to do that because I don't like tensioning cables because it means they have no give anywhere. So when you need like just another centimeter to make them reach, you don't have it. Right. Last zip tie. Right, before I zip tie that in, yes, that's going over the top of the cables. All right. Almost there. I'm hungry. I got a tip from a customer today, like a monetary tip. I did a quick over-the-counter fix and got myself a tenner. And I'm gonna go and buy pizza after this, and it's gonna be great. I'm in a pizza mood tonight. What should I get on my pizza? Should I get a barbecue pizza or should I get a New Yorker? What do you guys think? Ugh. Oh, thought I felt something under my foot then. Guess where I can put this 15 kilo of copper milk churn? What the heck? I see. Why a laptop cam's so crap? Yeah, there's never any good ones. Black olives. Don't forget the garlic powder. Barbecue chicken. Yeah, I'm into it. Meat tornado. Treb, what the hell is a meat tornado? I'm scared. I'm concerned. Lemon chicken on pizza. That's interesting. Get something healthy like a bacon sandwich. Right, we're done under this counter. Oh, wait, one more sticky pad. Here. I need one of these. There we go. Do not Google it. I see. Okay. Concern. Fear. Ugh. Right. Whoop. There we go. Everyone laughs at sticky pads, but look, done. Problem solved. They work, man. They work. They're brilliant. Very underrated in my opinion. All right. Let's go to that cam. Did it indeed. Right, what is this? Okay, that's a 50 centimeter HDMI cable. Thanks, I hate it. Move the rubbish. Put that down there. All right, I've just got to set up computers on this bench and I am done. So we're setting up, putting that there. Ooh. Putting that there. Right, this bench is a little bit tricky because the right-hand computer, the Lianli, has a 30-inch monitor on it, which takes up a lot of space. But I'm going to try and make an effort to say, no, I have to fit, even if one of the computers is taking up lots of space, they both have to fit on one bench. Because up until this point, this position generally straddles the separator here, and I don't like that. I'm going to try and avoid it this time. I will move this guy along a little bit, because then I can have like, that can go like there, and we can move right along. It's going to go there and there. Right, come on, Lianli. It is the heavy boy. Oh. This computer is so heavy, you guys got no idea. Put my graphics card support mount back in. Trademark Adamant IT. Go for that, I think. I like to have them at an angle so people can look inside, because they're here to look pretty. Uh-oh. Didn't put enough slack on this network cable. And this is why we don't zip tie things in place. Because when I need some more slack, I can just pull it through. Good. Right. Where's the big boy? There it is. Need to go around this with a paintbrush. Paintbrush gets in all the corners and just gets those little dust bits out of the corners. Right. Show me where your cables go. DisplayPort. Let's see. Why don't you put black case on his side? Explain. You need to go live more like today. It's been awesome. Well, we're here every Saturday. But yeah, normally Caradog is here and normally we're talking about stuff. I don't know how this content goes, but yeah, I have been thinking of doing more live content on the main channel. But yeah, we'll see. This has been an experiment, and I mean, for the people who are here, folks seem to have enjoyed it. But I'll have a look at the analytics after that as well. We'll see what the response is. You know, we'll see how we go. I am paying attention to the analytics at the moment just because I need to, in short. Because unfortunately, YouTube does pay the bills, so you have to put out content that makes money. That's unfortunately the fact of the matter. So, and I try to do the content that I like, but that has to be tempered with content that is actually viable for YouTube as well, unfortunately. However, I would like stuff like this to work as well. Right, that's that. Let's get this guy wired up now. And then we can do a nice hero shot and see everything turned on and working, and it'll be cool. monitor. So you see how fast I'm getting stuff plugged in now? Because all the cables are just here and in place. That was the point of all of this. Now I'm literally just going bam, 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 because I don't have to feed any cables through. Everything is exactly where it needs to be. That was the whole point of this. Oh God, where's the HDMI port on this thing? There we go. Put that there. Keyboards and mice. Right, the white keyboard and mouse set. This was one of the cheapest gaming keyboard and mouse sets on Amazon at the time when I bought it. It's awful, but it's white and it looks pretty. It's not actually good. I wouldn't actually sell this. However, it looks nice. Ugh. It's really hard to find USB ports on this computer because the monitor is too big to look around and you can't see around the back either. I found something. There we go. Right. So we've got some visible cables along the back. However, this is the trade-off that I'm accepting. That there are some visible cables along the back. However, we don't have everything dangling along underneath anymore. And I can come along with some Velcro ties and Velcro tie these in place. But again, I need the ability to just remove stuff when I want to. So yeah. Harris Com, thank you very much for the $5, dude. Much appreciated. I'm glad you have enjoyed this content in English. Have a cider with the pizza. Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate that. Okay, GameMax keyboard and mouse. This was this keyboard, this GameMax. I forget the name of this GameMax keyboard, but it's their mechanical keyboard that they released when the market just suddenly became flooded with cheap mechanical keyboards and mice, or cheap mechanical keyboards, and this keyboard, you know, a lot of people go, oh, GameMax. It's really good. I still like this keyboard. You know, again, for the price point, it's a budget keyboard, but out of, I've tried buying other cheap mice and keyboard and they're just crap. But this one is actually pretty good. The mouse I could take or leave, but it goes with the keyboard, so it's a matching set. Right, that's that. Again, cables on the back wall, sort those out. That's dangling down. What's that? That's the keyboard. I can just tuck that up into the network cables. There we go. Hello? Wait for that to all fire up and make sure it works. Where can I stand where I'm not in the way of everything? Ugh. Am I doing a Sunday game stream by any chance? Yes. Tomorrow I will be streaming. Have I plugged this into a different display port? I think I have. Tomorrow I will be streaming Cult of the Lamb. Let's see. Scan sources. Has this posted? No. Oh, it's stuck on VGA. I don't think this guy's posted. Oh no, it has. Because what did I plug this into? Hacking. Oh, I see. I've made this mistake before. Hold on. Nope. Oh, huh, there it is. It's on the DisplayPort out port. This monitor has DisplayPort daisy chaining. You can have two of these guys side by side on a single DisplayPort cable because it's not high refresh. And I had it on the out port. There we go. Right, tomorrow I'll be streaming on Twitch. I'll be streaming Cult of the Lamb, and I'll have the Twitch integration on, so you too can become a member of my cult. And if you show up at the start of the stream, you guys can all vote on what I'm going to call my Cult of the Lamb as well. It's going to be great. Right. Yeah, we're fine. It was fine. I made this exact mistake the other day when I plugged this in. 2 weeks ago, this was the monitor that Caradog and I were taking apart, and when I set it up back here, I made exactly the same mistake. Right, that's it. I haven't put the speakers and the amp back in place. I'm going to do that on Tuesday, to be honest. I've been here for, well, we have been here for 3 hours and 20 minutes doing this desk. I've spent enough of your time and I've spent enough of my time. I'm going to go order a pizza and I'm going to go home and I'm going to play video games all night. It's going to be great. That's the plan. I'm going to leave a big old mess in this room for now. Right. However, I think that's pretty good. There's no visible cables under that bench. Well, you can see one, like there. There's something there. I need to nudge that in place, but nah, whatever. So yes. Right. Thanks for calling. Enjoy the pizza. Ever think about streaming soldering kits again? Man, it's been a hot minute since I've done a soldering kit stream. I was thinking about that the other day. I can't remember what brought it on, but I remembered how I used to do some soldering streams back in the Mixer days. And yeah, I remember what stopped that was part of what stopped that was just, I think it was just COVID. The supply of cheap soldering kits that were interesting to build just evaporated, and there was just nothing interesting to build. If people came up with some interesting stuff for me to put together, I would definitely be up for that. But I'd need to find some cool kits to build, basically. What are the temps in and outside? I don't have any thermometers here at the moment, so I don't know is the answer to that, I'm afraid. It's not been too bad today, but also the shop stays fairly cool and my home stays fairly cool as well. So, good. Right. Classy. Really classy. All right. Can't believe 4 hours has passed so quick. Thank you for this. Thank you for this compliment. What's behind the saloon-style doors at the end of the ramp when you walk in? A cupboard. This place used to be a hair salon, and that cupboard is most likely where they mixed hair dyes, because you can't mix up hair dye in a public space because of fumes and stuff. So if you go into a cupboard, even though there's no extractor fan in there, technically that's not the public space. So you often have a dedicated cupboard where you mix up the dyes and things like that. Muted? It's coming through on my end. I think we're okay. I think that's you, Jay. Maybe do a... Yeah? Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. Do a refresh. You have Audi. You've got an Audi. You've got an Audi S3. It's great. Good. People like the moving videos. Well, I'll keep putting them out there. They're not, as I said earlier on, the moving videos are not performing well, but I'll put them out anyway. I'll get them out there because they're already made. They were made 2 years ago. So yeah. Anyway. All right, it's fine. Jay's going to refresh. When next video? That's a good question. The next video is going to be my review of the Fractal Pop Airflow, which is one of these guys. This is the Pop Air Mini, and I've got the Big Pop Air in the window that I'm building up a PC in. So there's going to be a review of that, and I'm going to edit that review this weekend. That's going to be the next video. I don't have a lot of repair stuff lined up, which concerns me, but whatever. I've got videos that I like lined up. We've got the Pop Air coming up, and then as I said earlier on, the Creality End of 5 video, and I'm going to be working on that. I really hope that Creality video does well, because I'm really enjoying researching it. So we'll see how we do. So yeah. Jay, don't know what your problem is. Sorry. However, I'm going to get out of here because it's time to go. So yeah, been in the shop for 2 years. I know, right? So yeah. Right, I'm out of here. Thank you everyone for tuning in. This has been My Bench. And I will, so yeah, if you want to see more of me, I'll be on Twitch tomorrow. Let's put in the thing because the chatbot is dead. Twitch.tv/Nerthison. I'll be streaming Cult of the Lounge tomorrow there, 7 p.m. UK time. I'm going to go to get a pizza, and yeah, see you all soon. Bye, everyone. Toodles. I've got to find the thing. Live streaming. End stream. Bye.